quarterback playoff teams. They can run the ball well enough. They can play defense with anybody in the National Football League. Atlanta has more problems. They can run the ball well enough. They can throw the ball well enough, but they can't defense either well enough. They drafted 5 defensive players in the first 5 rounds, and they've moved their secondary around, and they appear to be more ready to play sound defense. Let's find out.
Well, the Saints have won the toss of the coin. They've elected to receive, and kicking off for the Atlanta Falcons this afternoon will be the veteran Mick Luckhurst. Back deep for the New Orleans Saints, Jitter Fields, the rookie from Texas, on the left side of your screen, and Kenny Duckett, number 83, on the right side. Atlanta, 4th in the NFC West last year. Here we go. Brand new NFL season underway. Duckett fields it 5 yards deep. Will not run it out. Touchback. 1st and 10 for the Saints from their 20. This is the way they will line up. The one new face in the starting lineup, Richard Todd, the quarterback, obtained from the New York Jets in exchange for a #1 draft choice. And George Rogers, one of the top runners, certainly in professional football. The offensive line sports one new face, one new starter, in Steve Court. An All-American Arkansas, played guard last year, has been moved to center to replace the veteran John Hill. So here's the Saints' first snap of the regular season from their own 20-yard line. And the pitch goes to Rogers. Big hole over the right side, cutting outside across the 30. And he's got the first down as he takes it to the 35. A pickup of 16 yards by Rogers on the first play from scrimmage. Buddy Curry, the middle linebacker, came over to make the stop.
The tight end on the right-hand side of your screen, number 85, did a super job of hook blocking John Rady, the linebacker. Therefore, Pokey Gajon is right out there, number 46, looking for someone to hit. They're going to have to play better outside linebacker defense to stop this big horse.
That's a big problem that Atlanta had last year, was stopping the rush. So you know they're going to be tested by the Saints in that department. 1st and 10, 16-yard pickup by Rogers. Saints moving from their 36. Single back setup with Rogers, who gets the call over the right side out to the 38-yard line. He needs just 34 yards today, does Rogers, to become the Saints' all-time leading rusher. Defensively, we'll set up Atlanta for you. Gary Burley and Rick Bryan are new faces. Bryan is the #1 draft pick. Burley is a 9-year veteran, obtained in a trade last week from Cincinnati. The linebackers are a veteran bunch, anchored by Buddy Curry in the middle. And the deep backs likewise. Remember Kenny Johnson last year from that Green Bay Atlanta game we did, where he ran 2 interceptions back for touchdowns. 2nd down, 7. Saints at their 38. You saw Todd motion to the wide receiver, Lindsey Scott, to come back inside. Todd fumbles the football trying to throw, and let's see who's got it. Saints managed to recover for the loss back at the 31-yard line. That'll cost him a half-dozen yards, but at least they retain possession.
Frank, Richard had good time to throw the ball, but the defense had taken away the pattern downfield. Now let's take a look at it at ground level. You'll see that Richard dropped straight back. He has plenty of time. He's looking to his right. He's sitting. Now a defender came in and knocked the ball out of his hand. Then it's a mad scramble.
It looked like Steve Court, the center, was the man who recovered the ball for the Saints. Now they're looking at a 3rd down and 14 upcoming, back at their 31-yard line. Falcons showing blitz. And here they come after Todd, trying to get it away. He does. Intended for Goodlow, number 88. Defended by James Britt, number 26. They got a marker down behind the line of scrimmage. Illegal use of hands against the Saints will be declined because it sets up a punting situation.
Holding, number 60 offense, penalty refused, 4th down.
Gene Barth, the referee, giving you the call.
You know, you can use your hands in pass protection, but you can't get them outside the plane of the body. Now, see number 60 right there in the center of your screen? He's got his left hand outside the plane of the man's body, holding.
New punter for the Saints this year, rookie Brian Hansen, who beat out the veteran Russell Erxleben. Billy White Shoes Johnson is the deep man. White Shoes at the 38, 40, 45, 50, 40. One man to beat, caught from behind. and dropped at the 26. So White Shoes comes through with a big return, the first time the Falcons touched the football. And Atlanta will have a 1st and 10 at the New Orleans Saints 26 when we come back right after this. 37 yards on the punt return by Billy White Shoes Johnson, who is chasing Rick Upchurch, and will this year become the NFL's all-time leading punt returner. So excellent field position for the Falcons. The ball is spotted at the Saint 27-yard line, and Steve Bartkowski is at the throttle. They go with the single back setback in Gerald Riggs, number 42. And Riggs will take it down to the 21-yard line. Take a look at that punt return by White Shoes.
Look at the concentration on the ball. Now he starts straight upfield. The defenders do not come to balance. They overrun him. He gets very few blocks. They were too intense in their coverage and forgot to break down and come to balance so they could close in and make the tackle.
Billy needs 206 yards worth of punt returns this year to pass Rick Upchurch and become the NFL's all-time leading punt returner in the yardage department. 2nd and 5. Falcons at the Saint 22. Riggs up the middle. Hit hard at the line of scrimmage and shoved back. He may have picked up a yard, but no more than that. Here's the Falcons' offensive lineup. The new faces in there. Benson is a rookie at the H-back. And Riggs, of course, will replace William Andrews. He's a 4-year veteran. Falcons' offensive line. Key people there, the left side, R.C. Tillman and Mike Ken, who have both been Pro Bowlers for the last 3 years. They'll go a lot in that direction. 3rd down and 5 needed for the 1st down at the 21-yard line. That's White Shoes Johnson in motion. Rushes on Bartkowski, floats it into the end zone. Incomplete. The intended receiver, number 82, Stacy Bailey, who tried to stay in bounds, keep his concentration going.
You'll see that they were very close to each other. Bump and run coverage from the line of scrimmage is just outside the reach of his hands right there. He can almost hold on to the football. Close is not enough.
So a field goal attempt for Mick Luckhurst. This will be from the 29-yard line. He drop kicked an extra point attempt in a preseason game. But this will be legitimate. It is long enough, and it is good. 37-yard field goal by Luckhurst, and the Falcons lead the Saints 3-0. So Atlanta leading New Orleans, a team that they lost to twice last year and also lost to in preseason this year. The score in that preseason game was 31-21. Saints wound up 3-1 in the preseason. Atlanta wound up 1-3 in the preseason. But keep in mind they were 1-3 4 years ago in 1980. And they wound up going 12-4 in the regular season. Jitter Fields on the left and Kenny Duckett on the right. Awaiting the kick from Mick Luckhurst. This is returnable. Duckett at the 2, 10, 15, hit at the 20 and dives forward to the 25, and we get a marker. There it is.
Frank, you called it a marker.
Well, I like to change it up. Occasionally we call it a hanky. Flag, marker.
Probably pushing.
Invariably, it'll be against the receiving team. That'll move it back to the 13.
Illegal block in the back,
yeah.
Number 19 during the run back. 1st down.
Here it is, number 19. See him right there pushing number 55 from back? Definitely a good call by side judge Gary Austin.
That's Guido Merkins of the Saints, number 19. Accused of the penalty, so Saints come up in poor field position. 1st down from their 12-yard line. 2nd offensive possession of the day. And Todd is caught behind the line and spun down at the 2-yard line. Big rush. That time blowing through was Gary Burley, one of the newest of the Atlanta Falcons. He's been with the club just a week.
Gary Burley will be rushing right over the guard there. Now you can see him coming from the left side of your screen. You'll see him appear. There he comes right there. No place to go, and he had a man wide open downfield, Frank.
Well, the officials will mark it at the 3-yard line.
2nd and 20.
Not the place you want to be, not the way you want to start out a season. Todd throwing from the end zone under pressure, caught for a safety. It's a safety. This time it was Rick Bryan, number 77, the rookie, number 1 draft pick from right tackle, exerting the pressure on Richard Todd, and that makes the score 5-0 in favor of the Falcons.
Now you're going to see he gets back into the end zone. Now follow the quarterback back. He sits back there. I can't understand why an experienced quarterback just didn't unload it right now. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. He had time to unload the football, Frank. Prevent the safety. Don't you think so?
I believe it. Second-year head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Dan Henning, former quarterback in the NFL with San Diego. Once upon a time was on the same staff with this man, Bum Phillips.
Yeah, way back at the San Diego Chargers day, when Dan was a quarterback, Bum was coaching the defensive line for Sid Gilman.
Free kick following the safety. Brian Hansen, the rookie punter, will handle it for New Orleans. This obviously is not the way that the Saints wanted to start. Billy Johnson in the center of that receiving formation, and it will be White Shoes at the 22. 30, 35. Across the 40 and up to the 44-yard line. Guys, still excitement personified. Jimmy Rogers made the stop.
Nice punt by that rookie punter.
Yeah, we got a marker, and it will go against Atlanta this time for illegal use of hands on the return.
I didn't see the penalty there, nor did I see him throw the flag.
Illegal block in the back. Number 22 on the run back.
So this one is against Richard Williams off the Atlanta specialty team. It cost them penalty yardage.
Right up in the upper right-hand side of your screen now.
Pretty blatant,
Boom.
I'd say, wasn't it? Huh? I mean, there wasn't much question about that. Nor the previous one by Merkins of the Saints. 1st and 10, Falcons at their 32-yard line. Single back setup. Riggs. Another penalty flag is dropped. Dennis Winston, the linebacker on the right side, came up and got a hold of his ankle as he tried to cut upfield. Against Atlanta. Well, that's 4 penalties here in the opening moments of the ball game.
88 offense, holding, still 1st down and 20.
88 was the man in motion on that play. Arthur Cox, the tight end.
He's a free agent. It made the team from last year.
Saints defense, they play that 3-man front with the veteran Derland Moore in the middle. Ricky Jackson was the only member of the Saints last year to make the Pro Bowl. And he is their top linebacker, and they've got a good group. And this group of veterans in the secondary has been playing together for 4 years now in the NFL, and the oldest guy is 25. Bartkowski on the delay going up the middle to Riggs. And he takes it to about the 30. Gerald Riggs has some big shoes to fill. He's a former number 1 draft pick from Arizona State. And as you mentioned last week on our telecast, you know, it's a terrible misfortune to lose a guy like Andrews, but that's a place where they've got some depth.
They do have depth, and this fine young man is talented. You know, he's a number 1 pick. You never really replace an Andrews because he's such a great player, maybe one in his just a class by himself. But this guy will do a good job for him.
2nd down, 14 for the Falcons at their 28-yard line. White Shoes in motion. Again, it's Riggs fighting his way across the 30 to the 32-yard line. How would you compare Riggs with Andrews in style?
Well, I think Riggs is a little faster, but I don't think he's quite as powerful in shedding tacklers up through, especially inside. Maybe a little more mobile in the open field. Andrews will look at safety up and try to run him down. But again, Andrews is in a class by himself, really. Especially in terms of that 1-back running attack. The big thing he has to do now is forget the injury and give it all the time he can in terms of rehabilitation efforts.
3rd down, 11. Johnson in the slot off to the right. Now White Shoes starts in motion, and we get movement prior to the snap. It was a 3rd and 11 play. And Gene Barth.
False start, 61 offense.
Now they're looking at 3rd down and 16 as the penalty was against John Scully, starting guard, number 61. Interesting that you coached Gerald Riggs in an all-star game, and we asked him about it yesterday, and he said, man, it was like being with Frank Kush again. You gave him a tough time, apparently.
I was put in good company when he said that. I appreciate that. No, Frank Kush, fine football coach. But we ran an intense camp for a all-star type game.
4 penalties already in this ball game in the early going. Fans chanting defense. 3rd down and 16 needed for the first down as Barkowski rolls out and airs it out downfield. Jackson fell, and the pass was almost picked off by Johnny Poe, number 25, as Jackson hit the deck, and he is very unhappy and letting the officials know that he at least thinks he was tripped.
Here he's coming back to the inside, and he was tripped. It's incidental contact. Actually, he stepped on Poe's right foot. I don't think there was any pass interference here. The ball should have been intercepted, Frank. Look at Poe bobbling right there.
So the Falcons will be doing the punting now. Ralph Giacomaro is their kicker. And the deep man is the rookie from the University of Texas, Jitter Fields. Fields signals for the fair catch and fields it at the 36-yard line. And that's where the Saints will put it in play with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the opening period here at the Louisiana Superdome. 37 yards on the punt, no return, timeout. Atlanta leads it 5-0. 1st and 10. Saints ball at their 36-yard line. They trail by a score of 5-0. Midway in the opening period. Rodgers takes the handoff from Todd across the 40. And the hard-running fullback is up to the 42-yard line. He was bothered by a knee injury most of last year, but has come back strong.
Now watch right to the right of the center. You'll see the center number 60, Court, and Louis Aubry, number 66, do a pretty good job on the nose tackle, Burley. Now see them both come off together. They're going to knock him off the ball. Then Court comes off and tries to pick up Curry, the linebacker. Rodgers has that great vision, Frank, and he cuts back in there.
He picked up 6 at 2nd and 4 at the 43-yard line. Again, they go to Rodgers with Gaijon leading the blocking, and that's a first down as he crosses the 50 to the 40-yard line. Hokie Gaijon leading the interference for George Rodgers. Pridemore came up to make the stop along with Al Richardson. Scores around the National Football League on opening day. San Diego has jumped on Minnesota in their game up in Minnesota. Bears have a field goal on Tampa Bay in the opening period. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 7-0. Giants over the Eagles 7-3 in the first period. And New England 14, Buffalo nothing. Our score, Atlanta 5, New Orleans nothing. But the Saints are moving with a first down at the Atlanta 49-yard line. Richard Todd back to throw it, swings it out to the safety valve. Rodgers is down to the 40 to the 39-yard line, and that's close to another first down for the New Orleans Saints. It's quite obvious they're trying to get the ball in the hands of Mr. Rodgers at every opportunity.
You know, the one thing Rodgers hasn't done is catch a touchdown pass in his career. Now you watch, he's going to drop straight back. Rodgers, back of your screen now, is moving to the right. Now watch the lineman peel out. This is a screen pass out of the I formation. Now see the lineman, look at Court, number 60, looking for a guy to hit. Couldn't find anybody to hit, ran into his own man.
2nd down, less than a yard needed for the first down for the Saints. Nose of the football just inside the Atlanta 40-yard line. Falcons showing blitz once again. Rodgers outside, dips back in, and turns what could have been a no-gain play into about a 5-yard pickup.
Hokie Gaijon, number 46, the fullback, did a real nice job of knocking down the linebacker and allowing him to go ahead and make that move outside, Frank. Did a super job.
Buddy Curry, the middle linebacker, coming up to make the stop, but the Saints have the first down with the nose of the ball right down inside the 35. Veteran Buddy Curry out of Georgia Tech, long a mainstay of the Falcons defense back in the days of the grit splits when he was a mere youngster. 1st and 10. Gaijon in motion. Todd giving to Rodgers up the middle. This time he stopped. Nothing there for him. Big surge that time by the defensive line. That was Wayne Wilson, number 30, who came in for Rodgers to give him a blow for just a second. Don Smith in on the stop along with Brian and Buddy Curry. Rodgers, with his last carry a moment ago, set the Saints' all-time rushing record. He needed just 34 yards going in. He has now surpassed Chuck Muncie. Interesting that there's a quarterback in 4th place in that category. Archie Manning, 2nd and 10 from the 35. Todd firing it over the middle, intended for Wayne Wilson. Wilson is a great all-purpose back, did an excellent job filling in last year when Rodgers missed about 3 games. In fact, Wilson stepped right in and had 100 yards rushing or better in each of those 3 games. Good receiver as well as a good runner. 3rd and 10 now from the 35-yard line.
Atlanta Falcons came after him with a red dog that time, and Richard read the red dog all right. He knew they were doing. He tried to dump it off, and I actually thought the linebacker knocked down the receiver prior to giving him an opportunity to catch it.
Growth in the slot off to the right. Lindsey Scott is up at the top of your screen, split wide on 3rd and 10. 2-yard line. Jeff Growth, number 86.
Now you watch him at the top of your screen. He's coming down inside. See him moving up on Bobby Butler, number 37. Now he turns to the outside, goes to the corner, gives him a little push with his right elbow right there. Wheels around, heads up to the goal line, almost puts it in. As Bum said yesterday, he's our pattern guy. Not great speed, just a good move man.
Great hands, certainly. It is 1st and goal to go. And the Saints trailing 5-0, have a chance to take the lead. They're at the 3-yard line. They give it to Rodgers. Guys on with the block. He's down to the 1. Fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown. Well, he got the excellent lead block from Gaijan, and the rest, Dick, he pretty well did himself.
Frank, he really didn't get as much help inside as he would have liked to gotten, but with his ability, his size at 230 pounds, when he turns up inside, he can get it in the end zone.
Morton Anderson is the Saints placement specialist. Merkins to hold. The kick is good, and the Saints lead it 7-5.
Now watch, his quarterback's going to toss the ball deep. See him now, he's back there deep. He looks for a place to go. He gets the pads down. He's just pounding in there, and that really is all done on his own individual strength and power, Frank.
George Rodgers, who gained 1,144 yards last year despite missing 3 games and a little bit more with a knee injury, pushing it across the final 3 yards as Morton Anderson prepares to kick off. Sylvester Stamps, number 41, highly touted rookie from Jackson State. Not highly touted before he got there, but he's really caught the attention of the Falcons coaches in the preseason. Stamps at the goal line, out to the 10, 15, 20, and that's it. Guido Merkins, number 19, in the stop, and we get a marker down. Another flag is thrown. Very late flag, as a matter of fact.
You know, Frank, that touchdown was a great individual effort on the part of George Rodgers. It really didn't look like he was going to get in there.
Again, illegal use of hands against the Falcons. While we wait here, take a look at that touchdown. Any question in your mind as to whether he got in?
At first, it didn't look like he got in, but his effort, see the big guard pull, everyone's going out there. Now watch the ball in the right hand. Watch it closely now. Keep vision on the ball. There he is. He stuck it in the end zone. Broke the plane. Touchdown. Heads-up play by an experienced running back, and a great one.
Illegal use of hands against Dave Levanek. And a lot of penalties here in the opening period. Again, the Falcons come up with the poor field position after the penalty. Moves them back to the 11-yard line. That's where they'll start. You look over the shoulder there of Bruce Clark, the big defensive lineman. They're after Barkowski, and they've got him at the 5, and we have yet another hanky. A flag drop this time at the near sideline. And it was Bruce Clark, the young man we mentioned, defensive left end. Penalty is against Atlanta. And the loss will amount to about the same.
Illegal formation. There was no end on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Penalties refused. Second down.
They were in one of those unusual formations with all three receivers, including the H-back, split out. Evidently, the outside receiver did not get on the line of scrimmage like he should have.
Falcons are operating, keep in mind, against a team that was the #1 defensive team in the NFC last year and the #1 pass defensive team in the National Football League. Riggs trying to get it out, moves it to about the 8.
They were in the unbalanced line that time, Frank. One of the only teams that really used this as an integral part of their offense.
You think there's an advantage to an unbalanced line in this day and age?
Well, there is, the way they do it. They take an offensive tackle and put him over on the other side next to the other offensive tackle, bring the tight end over there and play him outside the guard. And you still have to play your secondary over there. If we get time through the ballgame, maybe we can explain that to the fans.
Third down, 13 for the Falcons from their 8. Bailey is wide to the left side. Jackson is split to the right. Riggs, as they stay conservative, get just a yard. Ricky Jackson, the left outside linebacker, fourth-year man from Pitt. And a Pro Bowler last year, the only Pro Bowler that the Saints had, making the stop. And it'll be the Falcons punting out of their end zone, and a big hand for the Saints defense as they leave the field.
You know, the one thing Atlanta can't allow, Frank, is to allow this defense to get really excited. Because when they do, they play above their ability, and they're really tough anyway.
Jack Amaro will be about 8 yards deep, and you're looking at Jitter Fields standing on about the 50-yard line. So once again, New Orleans ought to come out in great field position, if nothing else.
Beautiful, beautiful punt.
Boy, did he get hang time on that. Fields at the 43 to the 50. 45. What a move. 40. Woo! Wow.
Hey, no wonder they call him Jitters.
Did you see that little 360 move he put on at about the 50-yard line?
Oh, no.
Yep.
The hanky down.
Another marker. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the opening period, and they'll call at least part of this back. There's Gene Barth, the referee, saying, well, let's bring it back. Well, you're supposed to have all these things worked out by opening day.
We got a holding foul against number 89. It was a post-possession foul. The enforcement spot is where possession changed.
So that means that Jitter Fields is going to lose the entire run back, which is unfortunate.
Penalty occurred prior, right?
Post-possession, after he got possession.
After he got the ball.
So it's marked off from where he caught it.
All right.
He caught it on about the 43, so they...
what a dazzling run.
They put 10 yards on him, which means they'll start this drive at the 33-yard line, 1st and 10.
Here's what Bums likes to do. Line up in that I formation with Rodgers really deep and give him the football. Audible.
Todd for Lindsey Scott. Good defense by Bobby Butler, number 23. And, of course, the boos rained down from above as the fans thought it should have been pass interference.
Now you can see the defender up there, Bobby Butler, number 23, right up there close. Todd saw this and went ahead and audible deep. He audible deep, and darn near came with the big run. This is something they didn't have in their offense last year, Frank, and it could add a total dimension, maybe the dimension they need to get in the playoffs.
I don't believe Stabler could have thrown that pass to you.
I kind of doubt it.
Todd seems to be settling down. He started off a little shaky in this ballgame.
Yeah.
Maybe stage fright, new team, opening day. 2nd and 10 from the 33. Gaijan, the fullback, gets nothing. Again, Gary Burley, number 73, in on the tackle. Now, Burley's been with him just a week. It surprises me a little bit that he's playing as much as being as much of a factor.
Well, defensive fundamental tackle play carry over. If you're playing an even 40-type defense in Cincinnati, it can carry over into, say, a New Orleans situation or an Atlanta situation. Fundamental techniques can carry over. A little bit different than playing linebacker or running, let's say, quarterback or offensive lineman. A little bit easier.
3rd and 11 for the Saints at their 32-yard line.
Remember, Burley is also a 9-year veteran, so things come to him quickly.
He's out of the University of Pittsburgh, played at the same time that Tony Dorsett did, and was a fine defensive lineman for the Bengals, who are loaded.
You know that.
Now we got a problem with the 30-second clock, right? Which will cause us a delay here.
You know, Frank, that was the second audible that Richard Todd called. The nice corner pattern that he hit Groth and to put him down in scoring position on the 3-yard line was an audible. And maybe the fans recognized that people were moving prior to that snap. People were moving in a position to pick up blitzes and dogging linebackers, and he audibled and got the big play. That time he was trying to take advantage of that tight coverage.
Well, they've recycled the 30-second clock, stopped it at 17. Here we go. Saints 1 out of 2 so far on third down conversions. 3rd and 11 from their 32-yard line. Goodlow in motion. Richard Todd aiming for Goodlow. He's got it. Out of bounds, 45 of Atlanta. This kid is coming on strong for the New Orleans Saints. Eugene Goodlow, who spent a couple of years in Kansas, or rather in Canada.
See him moving in motion now. Now he's going upfield. He's a regular flanker back now. He gives him a little move to the inside. Now he's heading for the corner. Now it's just a one-on-one situation. The ball was right there. Could not be throwing any better. Could not be thrown better. That's all there was to it.
James Britt defending, but he had no shot at all the way that ball was thrown, as Dick pointed out. 1st and 10, Saints at the 45-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. Rodgers on the pitch. Hit at the line of scrimmage, gets a couple, and then he is shoved back by the red and white wave. Rick Bryan, number 77, making the stop along with Burley.
James Britt, in defending that play as a cornerback, was a safety last year and moved to corner this year, and actually was drafted to play corner, but due to injuries and everything, he moved inside. Kenny Johnson, who played corner, Frank, last year, is now playing safety inside.
And they feel that's his natural position, and he will do very well. Atlanta has yet to pick up a first down, even though they've scored 5 points. Field goal as a result of a turnover, and then, of course, the safety. 2nd down, 8. Todd bouncing that one at the feet of the tight end, Hobie Brenner, number 85, the intended receiver. Richard was coached for a time. In fact, when he came up and was drafted by the Jets, one of the coaches on the Jets staff was Dan Henning.
Right. He coached him for his first 3 years, and he really thinks that Richard Todd's a fine quarterback. He feels really what he needs to do now is reestablish a real deep confidence level, and if he does, he'll return to the performance level of, say, 1981, when he was one of the best in the NFL.
Todd is 3 out of 7 for 63 yards. Saints have a 3rd and 9. At the Falcon 43, Falcons showing blitz. They're coming. And Todd is sacked back at the 47-yard line. Again, Bryan leading the charge along with Don Smith. Bryan 77, the rookie from Oklahoma, and Smith number 65.
Now, watching from the end zone, it appears initially that he has time, but Burley inside, there's a little stunt coming right to the right side of your screen. See Burley number 73, they just could not hold him back. He's awfully big and strong, and they list him at 273. Frank, I think he looks more like about 293.
You know, Todd now has been trapped 4 times in the first period for a loss of 29 yards. We're inside of 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Brian Hansen, the rookie, to punt. Billy Whiteshoes standing at the 14. 20. Gets outside, 25, and that's it, as he's knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line, and the clock has run down to 00.
Bum Phillips knows that guy.
Yes. Certainly does from his days at Houston. That's the end of the first period of play, with the Saints leading the Falcons 7-5.
I crushed a lot of quarterbacks in my day, and I'm real sorry. So I wrote this letter. Dear quarterbacks, I apologize for the way I've treated you. Please let me buy you a light beer from Miller. Light's my beer because it tastes great. I'm sure it's yours, too, because you little guys can't afford to get filled up. Hope to see you soon. Sincerely, L.C. Greenwood.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less. I hear that L.C. Greenwood has invited quarterbacks to join him for a light beer from Miller. Well, here's my reply. Dear L.C., I accept your gracious offer. A quarterback is far too intelligent to turn down a light beer because it's less filling and it tastes great. Even you big, clumsy linemen know that. Hope to see you soon. Sincerely, Bert Jones. Come on, Bert!
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
How'd he do that?
A light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. Your Toyota dealer and Toyota's lowest priced, hard-working truck, the Standard Bid. And by Federal Express Zap Mail, an exact copy delivered door to door in just 2 hours. Falcons 1st and 10 at their 29-yard line following the 40-yard punt a moment ago. Falcons have had nothing going for them offensively so far. Riggs on the cutback up to the 35, 37-yard line. First period, Bartkowski did not complete a pass, and Riggs had 19 yards rushing, and that was their total offense. And if you take away the fact that Bartkowski was trapped once for a -7, Atlanta's total offense in the first period, a mere 12 yards.
Right, well, field position was not very favorable at all either, and I think they're just going to start getting under track, but they're going against the #2 defense in the NFL.
That do make a difference.
That do make a difference.
2nd down 1 as Riggs picked up 9 on that carry.
Unbalanced line again.
Riggs fighting his way for the first down out to the 43-yard line. So the Falcons will have a 1st and 10 as they continue to go with that unbalanced line.
Yeah, they like to change up because it moves an odd defense. If I could explain this, it moves it to an even defense, and it makes it a little bit easier for the center if they move it over. Cliff Benson, number 87, the H-back, went in motion that time and really nailed a defensive lineman.
That, by the way, is Atlanta's first down of the day. 1st and 10 for the Falcons at the 43-yard line. Riggs tries the right side, finds some running room out of there, and goes across the 50 and down to the 47-yard line. You saw Cliff Benson, the H-back, number 87, leading the way. Can you pretty well follow that guy in motion, and that's where the play's going to go?
More often than not, they run toward the man in motion. Take a look at the offensive center, Jeff Van Note. 16 years in the league, blocking a 12-year veteran, number 74, Derlin Moore. 28 years of combined experience playing on each other. You think they know what they're doing, Frank?
Well, they're probably saying to each other,
hey, when are you going to retire?
I'll retire when you retire, or as soon as you retire, I'll retire.
You know,
close enough for measurement here.
Jeff Van Note says he really doesn't want to go out in the real world. And it was interesting what Dan Henning said about him yesterday, Frank.
Remember, he's in better shape now than he ever has been.
At 38 years old, he tested physically in all their exams better this year than last year.
That's a 1st down for Atlanta. Other scores: Miami over Washington 7-0 in the 2nd period. St. Louis leading Green Bay by a touchdown. Most of these games in the 2nd quarter. San Diego leading Minnesota. We've got Chicago over Tampa Bay in what looks like a defensive battle. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh, and the Giants leading Philadelphia. New England 14, Buffalo nothing.
Unbalanced line.
1st down at the 46-yard line of the Saints. Bartkowski looking for his first completion of the day. He's got it. It's Arthur Cox, the tight end, over on the far side, and Cox takes it down to the 40 or thereabouts before Bruce Clark gets up to him, number 75. Here's another score. Remember that game we did in the playoffs last year, San Francisco, Detroit?
Oh, that was a great football game. Remember Monty Clark praying on the field goal attempt at the end, and then he missed it, just off to the right.
Well, looks like Eddie Murray has kicked at least one field goal, enabling Detroit to take the lead for the time being. 2nd down. 4 needed for the 1st down. Falcons trying to get a drive going. They've reached Atlanta's 40-yard line. Or rather, the Saints' 40. They started back at their own 30. Not much there for Riggs this time, but he fights and claws and scratches and crawls his way to the 35, and there goes another flag. So yet another penalty marker has been thrown in this penalty-scarred game so far. It will be holding. It will be against Atlanta, and it will cost them 10.
87 offense, holding, still 2nd down.
On Cliff Benson, the H-back.
Number 4 pick out of Purdue. You know, Atlanta is not a big holding team. They hold very little. Guys like Mike Ken have gone through a whole season like 1980 without having a holding penalty called on him.
One of the Saints was shaken up. It looks like Derlin Moore, number 74, the nose tackle who came into the game hurting a little bit. He's being tended to right now. We've got a timeout with the Saints leading the Falcons 7-5 in the second period. Well, Derlin Moore came into this game with a bruised knee. May have aggravated it a little.
It was, and I could tell yesterday in talking to him, he wasn't sure it was 100% ready to go yet.
Falcons with a second down, 14 from midfield. Benson in motion. Bartkowski on the rollout. Sideline throw and completes this one down the far sidelines to Jackson. Jackson 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Fumbles the ball in the end zone, but it's ruled a touchdown. They say he was across the goal line before he fumbled. So it is an Atlanta touchdown as the big play man who has murdered the Saints before.
Yes.
On that Big Ben play several years ago in a game we did, does it again. On the receiving end of a 50-yard touchdown pass from Steve Bartkowski. And the Falcons jump back out in front 11-7.
You're going to see the receiver at the top of the screen, Alfred Jenkins, number 85, push deep. Now watch him push Waymer deep. Now watch him come back. Watch him work back toward the line of scrimmage. Waymer came to make the tackle, missed the tackle. There goes Alfred for the touchdown. A beautiful job of driving the defensive back deep and then coming back for the football.
Luckhurst with the extra point try as the fans react to the replay on the huge screen, and we got another penalty flag now. This is getting ridiculous. All right, now he's got to be across the plane of the goal line, and then he can fumble, and it's okay.
Let's see. He's got the ball in control right now. He's carrying it with both hands, believe it or not. Now there he is on the 2-yard line, 3-yard line. Did not have control. Did not have control. Now, the official standing right there, Bernie Kukar, is it? K-U-K-A-R, had good position there. He should be able to see that. You know, the other thing with the
Falcons, from our angle at least, and
from our angle,
we are in a 50-yard line angle. Looked like they got a big break there.
Everything happened so fast. The other thing is the ball was up in his chest area, and it was probably a little bit harder for the official to see.
Luckhurst after the 5-yard penalty, extra point try, still good. The Atlanta Falcons lead the New Orleans Saints 12-7 with 12:41 left in the first half.
I tell you, playing polo is a lot tougher than it looks.
Sure is.
And even though the horses do the running, you still can work up a thirst.
So after a chucker or two, we equestrians drink light beer from Miller.
Yeah, light tastes great, and it's got a third less calories than a regular beer.
And it's less filling.
And that's important, because tomorrow we're going to try our hand at water polo.
Yeah, I sure hope those horses can swim.
Me too.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
Coming this fall from the executive producers of Flashdance. Dreams come through this fall on CBS.
There's the book on the Atlanta scoring drive. Bartkowski, the last 50 yards to Jackson. You recall Jackson missed most of last season after fracturing his clavicle early in the year.
I think he did it against Philadelphia. Yeah.
The deep men duck it on the left and Jitter Fields on the right as Luckhurst prepares to kick off.
Let's see if Jitter has those same moves here.
This one's going to be Duckett at the 5. 15. He can move to 20, 25, 30, 35 across the 40 and up to the 44-yard line. Fine return by Kenny Duckett, backup wide receiver and kick return specialist. Curran, number 89, Willie Curran making the tackle for the Atlanta Falcons.
This was a really nice job. Look at him look the ball in. Now he starts straight upfield, picks up his blockers in front of him. Now, boom, he finds an owl right there. Nice little alley. Now he's working upfield. Look, nice block by the linebacker, 58 right there. Still moving straight upfield. Really a fine job. Willie Curran, number 89, makes the play.
A 39-yard return. We've seen some pretty good kick returns here in the first half of this football game. 1st and 10. Saints at their 43. The pitch to Rodgers. Tries the left side, cuts back in, then out. And is tackled at the 49-yard line by James Britt, who came up from the right corner position. Coming up right after football, U.S. Open tennis from Flushing Meadows. CBS Sports coverage continues. You'll see Jimmy Connors Past champion, of course, many times, and the number 3 seed this year behind Mr. McEnroe and Mr. Lindell. And he will take on André Lecomte of France. He is unseeded in the tournament. Last time out beat Peter Duhan. This will be a 3rd round action in the U.S. Open. 2nd down 4 from the 49. Again, the big man, Rogers. Oh, what a difference he makes. 1st down at the 45-yard line. He hurt his knee last year, and I was talking to him yesterday, and I asked him, did it bother you at all in training camp? He says, no, I tried to get it to swell up so I get some time off, but it wouldn't work.
Take a look at the tight end, number 85, at the left of your screen, come off, blocking on the linebacker. See him doing a nice job. Doesn't have to whip him, just control him. Turns him outside. Rogers goes up inside, following Hoagie Gajon, number 46, blocking. Nice game. Positive game.
1st and 10, the Saints at the Falcon 43-yard line. Atlanta leading 12-7. Richard Todd at the helm. First time out. Wayne Wilson, 45, 40, 35, 30, and down to the 31-yard line. Some of the Saints thought perhaps the Falcons were guilty of piling on.
Here's that same play they ran a little earlier. Now see a little screen pass out there. Now you'll see the lineman come up inside him. See the lineman right there? He turns up. Wayne Wilson does a nice job of avoiding. Gets up there for the 1st down. Atlanta's going to have some trouble defense in that play.
Well, they've had troubles in the past defensing the run.
And the pass.
And the pass, but mainly the run. 12-yard pickup and a 1st down at the 32 of the Falcons. Richard Todd looks at the boundary. Hokie Gajon couldn't stay in bounds. Went out at the 24-yard line. Young man who played his college football at LSU and is a real battler.
He's one of those tough guys. I can remember visiting with him on campus at LSU in his draft year, and that would have been about 1981. Really a nice guy to play. He was a little too small to be an NFL fullback, and he said, Coach, I'll just work my tail off, and he did it. Here he is playing in the league.
He has really beefed up from 205 as a rookie to 230, which he weighs now. 2nd and 3 for the Saints at the Falcon 24-yard line. Wayne Wilson taking the pitch, cuts back inside, has the 1st down at the 18-yard line if everything's in order, and it appears to be. Boy, Brenner's doing a job clearing him out, the tight end, Hobie Brenner.
Right in the middle of your screen, number 85 is blocking now on John Rady, number 59. He's doing a good job. He's stretching the defense. Hokie Gajon, number 46, goes in looking for the safety, number 27. He finds him. Another positive game. See, someone's got to get in that backfield and make that play happen sooner so the defense can get after it. Inside-out pursuit.
1st down, Saints at the Atlanta 18. Todd out to Wilson, can't hold it. Some question as to whether or not that was a backward pass or a forward pass. It is ruled a forward pass, so it is incomplete. Had it been a backward pass or a lateral, it would have been a free ball, quite obviously.
Hobie Brenner is gimping off the field. I think he turned his ankle a little bit.
Keep in mind that the Saints have signed Junior Miller, the former Atlanta tight end who they picked up this week.
And he can certainly block. And as Bum said to us, he looks like a tight end.
2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line. Saints trailing 12-7, 2nd period. Falcons showing blitz. They're coming after Todd. He unloads. That looked to be a catchable ball by Goodlow, number 88.
Ball should have been caught, no question about it. That's what he gets paid to do. There was no underneath coverage. He's got to catch that. He did a nice job of coming back. Now they're coming after him. Watch, everybody's going to good pass rush coming after him. The outside linebackers are coming inside. See number 58 to the right of your screen, 59 to the left of your screen. Now there he's going to work back to the ball. There it is. Hits him right in the chest. Right in the chest. Just didn't get his hands up and cradle that football properly.
Todd is 5 of 11 for 82 yards. It is 3rd and 10 for the Saints at the 18-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. Growth, number 86, in motion. Todd back to throw it, floats it out in the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown! Tyrone Young, number 89. Tom told us yesterday he was going to move those wide receivers in and out of there, and he's used about 5 so far.
He is a big, tall guy. You know, he's a young football player, a free agent. But he has the time right here to lay it up. See him lay it up real high. Now watch this. 6'7". Look at him reach up now. The defender knocked him out of bounds. That is a touchdown.
Anderson with the extra point try. The kick is good.
Bobby Butler's only 5'11".
Back out in front.
Excuse me, Frank.
The New Orleans Saints driving 56 yards. They got the great kickoff return. And then they move the rest of the way for the touchdown with the toss coming from Richard Todd to Tyrone Young, second-year receiver out of Florida. And Anderson will do the kicking off, possessor of one of the strongest legs in the National Football League. Hobie Brenner, we're told, bruised his foot, but will return. That's Sylvester Stamps, number 41, the deep man in the center of the kickoff return formation for Atlanta. Good, healthy boot. He'll stay in with this one. 9 yards deep in the end zone.
What a great kicker this guy is.
College football coming up on CBS just a couple of weeks away. The Washington Huskies and the Michigan Wolverines will open it up. A couple of pretty good football coaches clashing there.
No kidding. This Don James at the Huskies, he's tough to beat. I never had the opportunity to beat him. I mean, I had the opportunity. I just didn't take advantage of it. And then who beats Bo Schembechler very often? Not many. Should be a very good football game.
That's a week from next Saturday at 12 Eastern Time. The Washington Huskies and the Michigan Wolverines. Our score, the Saints 14, the Falcons 12. It has been interesting, although penalty marred here in the first half. 1st and 10. Atlanta with the football at the 20-yard line. Riggs. Looked like he almost ran away from Bartkowski that time. Bart had to kind of chase him to give him the handoff. Other scores in the National Football League. Again, most of these second period scores.
St. Louis, Green Bay. Everybody's playing real tight right now, aren't they? All even. Tampa, Chicago, Kansas City.
That's the most lopsided game we've had. So, yeah, can you believe that? Giants leading Philadelphia. New England over Buffalo. 2nd down, 9. As Bartkowski looks over the Saints defensive alignment. He's now hit 2 out of 4 for 54 yards. The big one, of course, the 50-yarder to Jackson. Airs it out again this time to White Shoes Johnson. He makes the catch and goes out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Pretty good concentration there.
I'll tell you, it takes a quarterback with a great arm to stick that one in the outside sideline. Now watch him go, drop straight back. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. He has good protection, right? People are picking up the stunts inside. Now he's looking to his left, and he drills this ball down the sideline. Tight coverage right there by Poe. Poe can't defend him. He shoves him out of bounds. I think we're going to see more of this tight coverage by corners, that bump and run technique or the press technique. Line right up on them and challenge them. The Raiders did so well in the Super Bowl against the Redskins last year. I think other people will follow suit.
1st and 10 for the Falcons at their 49-yard line after a 29-yard pickup on that throw. Bartkowski going to Jackson again, and Jackson nearly has his head taken off at the 43-yard line. He manages to hang on. It was Dennis Winston, number 56, who put the hit on him. Normally, when you go to a guy's head, I thought that's a penalty.
I don't know if he intentionally went to the head. I think the receiver tried to duck. See him slant to the inside coming from the right side of your screen. He has the ball tucked away now like a ball carrier. He's having a little trouble. Get it locked up. Here comes 56 right there. Boy, that is close. That is close. It still didn't look like he was flagrantly trying to go after the man's head. He was just trying to make the tackle.
An 8-yard pickup on the play. It is 2nd down and a long 2 needed for the 1st down, and they go to Riggs. Riggs has the first as he continues to play well in place of the injured William Andrews. That's a 1st down at the 39. I guess William is sitting back with that big cast on his leg in Atlanta watching this football game, and everyone in pro football wishes him well.
Oh, I know. We certainly do. We had so much fun watching him play last year, and I had great times, really coaching against him. The big thing he has to do is rehabilitation time. The operation is important, but the rehabilitation is the critical thing. Work his fanny off to get that thing ready, and he'll once again be a great back.
The time you saw a moment ago is time remaining in the 1st half. 1st down at the 39, blitz this time. Riggs, great job. 40, 30. Riggs to the 25 and down to the 24. And I imagine William Andrews is right proud of him.
I think Andrews is the kind of guy that's going to sit home and root for him on every snap because he's a true team football player. Right there showed the great burst of speed that this big man has.
Take a look at it from
now
the
watch
end zone.
William Andrews, the fullback. See him step to the right now. See him now. He's going to cut back. Look at him cut back. He gets a nice block there by Ken, 78. Now watch him go. A receiver block downfield. Now it's just physical one-on-one. Nice burst of speed.
Poe drags him out of bounds at the 24, but that's another Atlanta first down. This has been seesaw all the way ever since we started. Bartkowski looking for 6. Pumps it once, can't get rid of it. Loses the football. It is... We'll let Gene Barth unpile it.
I think the Saints got it. Atlanta got it back. Right?
They've given no indication yet. Now they do. It is Atlanta's ball at the 33-yard line. One pump is all he got that time.
Right, now you're going to have to give credit to the secondary downfield. See, he has time to throw, wanted to throw, couldn't go. Now here comes Whitney Paul, 51, right around behind him. Knocks the ball out, and there it is on the ground. Now that's the mad scramble. Who's going to get it? It's a hot potato. Bart got it himself. Well, I tell you, I hate to see quarterbacks with their hands on the ground reach out for loose footballs because someone clamps on that thing, he won't throw the ball for a month.
That'll scare the daylight out of a coach. Second down 19 after the loss on the play. Riggs has come out, and Lynn Kane, number 21, is now in at the tailback position.
A little better receiver.
White Shoes Johnson in motion on this passing situation. They go to Kane. Kane with a nice hole up the middle. Goes inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. There's a flag thrown across the way.
I expected him to use Kane more in a passing situation, and they ran him a nice inside play.
This guy is no slouch, Lynn Kane. He played well several years ago. Then had some injury problems, had a tough time coming back. Penalty's going to be against the Saints, as Gene Barth would indicate. And we'll let him give you the official call.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 44 defense, a push in the face. First down.
David Waymer, the cornerback, number 44.
That's not his style. He's pretty clean-cut, fine young man from Notre Dame. Visiting with him yesterday, he was looking forward to changing up his style of play a little bit this year, Frank, to being more aggressive, more tight coverage on people, and play with more confidence.
I asked him about the Falcon receivers. He says, I don't think of the opposing team by receivers. You got to put the quarterback and the receivers together. He says he thinks of both, and that's the way he prepares. The penalty enables the Falcons to pick up a first down at the 12-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. Riggs is back in there, takes the handoff, fights his way to about the 9. Just over 6 minutes left to play in the first half, and the Saints lead the Falcons by a score of 14-12, and we have had some excitement so far.
This is...
You're talking about Waymer a moment ago. Watch that play.
See, he's up there in that press position, bump and run inside. He's got his hands up. He jams right there. One hand inadvertently hit him in the face mask right there. I didn't see any obvious foul.
Second down, 7 for the Falcons at the Saint 9. Riggs blasting his way forward.
The H-back did a real nice job then of moving in motion and going in and trapping that nose guard. And that is a devastating block on a nose guard. Now, the nose guard now is Don Thorpe, number 96, a rookie out of the University of Illinois, playing in there in the place of Derlin Moore.
You know, you said he goes against Jeff Van Note. As you look at Dan Henning, there's the way the signal the plays in. Gary Petz, who is one of the assistant coaches, the man in the red shirt, is the one doing the signaling. There's Gary Petz.
Petz has put on little pots.
Yes. Third down. They need 2 for the first down. 5 for the touchdown. The give is to Riggs, and he's down around the 3-yard line. He's very close to the first down. Falcon players indicating, well, some think they got it, others think they're a little bit short. Let's see.
Fourth down.
Yeah, Gene Barth indicates no measurement necessary. It'll be 4th down. And now Dan Henning has a decision to make. Do you go for it?
The way that New Orleans is moving the ball, I would say you go for it.
He's sending an extra tight end in Landrum.
Right. New Orleans is moving the ball, and 3 points may not be the difference at the end of this football game.
4th down, inches for the first down. 3 yards from the goal line. They go to Riggs. He has the first down. He does not have the touchdown. I don't believe he's down around the 1. Oh, there it is. There's the indication he did get across.
I haven't seen it defined yet, have you?
He got over, they say. It's a touchdown for the Falcons.
Just the OI lead play. Now, see the H-back number 47 is going to kick out right there. Now the fullback's leading, and here comes that big back banging up inside. He got it in there, it looks like.
Got that shoulder across just barely.
I guess so, Frank. I'll tell you, they have better eyes than I do. Say, you know, at 230 pounds, and you know, run a 4.6 40, you go in there with a lot of momentum, a lot of power.
Luckhurst with the extra point tries. The Falcons have recaptured the lead with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the first half. The kick is good. Atlanta leading New Orleans 19-14 in a back-and-forth ball game. An impressive 80-yard drive. Bartkowski now 4 out of 6 for 92 yards, climaxed by the 3-yard run by Riggs. As Luckhurst prepares to kick off. I think the Falcons have got the hat trick now. They've scored a touchdown, a field goal, and a safety. Actually scored 2 touchdowns.
I think they're kicking that ball away from Jitter Fields.
This is to Duckett at the 10. He didn't do a bad job last time.
No, he didn't.
This time he gets across the 20, and that's it. Thomas Benson making the stop, number 53. Coming up next week on CBS. Preceded, of course, by the NFL Today. One of our key features, the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants. And many of you will be watching that interesting quarterback situation. And next week, Phyllis George is going to be talking to the new Cowboys starting quarterback, Gary Hogeboom, on the NFL Today about this controversy in which Hogeboom has now supplanted the veteran Danny White. Any thoughts on that yourself?
Well, I feel sorry for Danny White. You know, he's been a fine quarterback, and it's a little tougher to be considered a great quarterback in Dallas because your win-loss record, if you win one more than you lose, you fail. If you make the playoffs and lose, you're a loser. And if you go to the NFC Championship game in Dallas and lose the game, you're a loser. And it really makes it tougher on a quarterback. And plus, in Dallas, he takes out most of the heat.
Roy Harris, number 75, a rookie defensive tackle from Florida, limped off the field. Atlanta with the big edge in this period, certainly in total offense, after they were almost completely stymied in the first quarter of play. Falcons showing the blitz. Richard Todd back to throw it. Hit hard as he delivers the football.
Frank, that was an audible again. He read man-to-man coverage because the weak safety was rotated over in run force position by the tight end. And
that was Ricky Bryan, number 77, the number 1 draft pick, who
made a little
put the hit on
token
him.
fake, goes back, looks there, turned to his right. Now he's trying to get deep, and before he can get rid of the ball, there's the defender.
Bryan is quite a prospect. Falcons went heavy for defense since they needed help in that department, and their top 5 draft picks all defense, and the top 3 were all from the University of Oklahoma. 2nd and 10. Todd trying to set up the screen, does it to Gaijon at the 20. Hokie Gaijon, hurdling a couple of tacklers, is out to the 28-yard line, a little bit short of the first down.
He really throws his body in there, doesn't he? Hokie just gets that football under, and he's going to go make as many yards as anybody will allow. Look at it. From 205 to 230 pounds, it's just a few years of hard work and dedication.
10th round draft pick in 1981 out of LSU, who started 12 games last year. 3rd down. 3 needed for the first down. Saints trying to keep this drive going at their 28-yard line. Under 4 minutes left in the first half. One back setup with Wilson. Intended for Lindsey Scott. Penalty marker is thrown on Bobby Butler. I assume it's on the defender.
Could be on the offender.
Not the way the Falcons are reacting. Scott, of course, the former University of Georgia star.
Number 1 pick.
Interference, 23 defense, first down.
Boy, they're airing that ball out, aren't they? They're airing that ball deep. Again, they have some good pressure coming on him right there. Linebacker's committed. He lays it up deep. Here it is right now. Let's see. There's Scott on the outside, number 80. It looks like there is definitely contact right there with his right shoulder. I just feel maybe it would have been better to throw that flag a step sooner, a little bit quicker, because the interference occurred prior to the ball getting there.
First down at the 37 of Atlanta. That's a 35-yard penalty. Todd rushed for Rogers. 35 down to the 30-yard line.
Don Smith, number 65, had some good heat on him that time, and he just went to his checkoff man. He wanted to throw the ball to the tight end to the right side of your screen. Now, see, makes a little play action fake, goes back. He's looking over there to the right side of your screen. He can't find it. Now he just checks it down, then pow, Don Smith comes in and gives him a good shot, but not an illegal hit.
Pickup of 7 on the play. It is 2nd and 3 from the 30. Rogers taking the pitch, running room over the left side. Another flag is down as he picks up what would have been a first down, but again the penalty marker.
Hobie Brenner, the tight end that time, just buried John Rady, number 59, the outside linebacker. Must have called holding, huh?
It's against the Saints, so it'll wipe out the gain, the first down, and set them back.
Take a look at the tight end, number 85, the left side of your screen. Now watch him. He's out on John Rady.
Holding.
Now he just takes him right on down to the ground. They called holding there. I don't really see the holding. The official on the far side could see better than I can from sitting on the opposite side, I'm sure.
I thought it was a clean pin and takedown.
Yeah.
It's like a wrestler would do, huh?
Well, Rady drove underneath and almost went down on his own.
2nd down, 13 after the penalty. The Saints push back to the 40-yard line. Scott to the right side, Goodlow to the left. Pretty good speed on the wings right now. Todd, sideline throw for Scott. Good defense this time by Butler. Number 23, Bobby, former number 1 draft pick.
Watch Butler on this play now. He gets a nice drive on the football. The receiver right here to the left of your screen, is he's driving now. Butler, number 23, to the right of your screen, now in the middle. Now watch him drive back to the football. Super job. Kept his weight down, moved his shoulders forward, and drove through the football.
Butler's college coach, or one of his coaches in college at Florida State, Jack Stanton, has now joined the club as a defensive backfield coach. So they're reunited. 3rd down, 13.
Looks like they're coming after him, Frank. Looks like they're coming after him. See, they're audibling. They're audibling.
He's brought those 2 backs into block once again. Todd again looking downfield. Intercepted by Kenny Johnson at the 12-yard line. And he is stopped standing up. Johnson took a swipe at Jeff Groth right in front of the official. That's not too smart. And, of course, the flag was immediately thrown. Gary Austin, the side judge, was over there. Number 34, the official. And he saw Johnson take that swipe.
With a personal foul after the play was dead on 37, after the interception.
So Johnson lost his cool, at least for the moment, and it costs the Falcons field position. And the penalty will move it back to the 6-yard line. 2 minutes, 39 seconds left to play in the first half. Falcons have been penalized 8 times here in the first half for 91 yards. That's a lot of penalties in one half.
Can you see right here? Let's see if they can find out. Oh, there it is. He pushed him with his right hand. That's a personal foul.
Bailey to the right side, Jackson to the left. And Barkowski gives it to Riggs. We were talking to Gerald yesterday, and he said when Dan Henning arrived on the scene, he didn't quite know what to expect. He was very confused because he was lining up in the backfield with Andrews, liked the way things were going, and all of a sudden came the one-back offense, and he was more or less out of a job.
He said, well, there's only one guy back there, and I can pretty much figure out who it's going to be, and it isn't going to be me. And that really bothered him for a while, but now he's adjusted to it and likes the fact that he's back there.
Frank Lieber along with Dick Vermeil at the Louisiana Superdome. That's the time remaining in the first half. Seesaw football game. Dan Henning, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and just in his 2nd year. And, of course, Bum in his 10th year as a head coach in the NFL and his 4th here in New Orleans. And he has got the fans stirred up. You know, this is the only team in the National Football League that's never had a winning season or never been to the playoffs.
That's right. Here they are in that
second down, 8, deep in their own territory. Riggs taking the pitch from Bartkowski out to the 15-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. He's going to be pretty close to the first down yardage here. They'd like to get a little breathing space. Looks like we'll get the 2-minute warning prior to the next snap here. They'll mark it at the 16. They need less than a yard for the first down. Gerald Riggs, who's had a busy first half, he's already had 18 carries for 85 yards. What did he tell us yesterday? He wanted to carry it 30 times or something?
Well, if he carries it more than 33 times, he breaks their record.
Timeout. 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Falcons 19, the Saints 14. The Falcons have an important 3rd down and 1 upcoming from their own 15-yard line. Atlanta with the big edge in the rushing department thanks to Riggs, who has picked up 85 of those 113 yards.
Here's that unbalanced line.
And Riggs it is again on his 19th carry, bulling his way forward, and should have enough for the first down to keep the drive going, keep the clock moving. I'm sure the Falcons will be content here to just let this clock run out, since they are saddled with rather poor field position. There are only 9 players left on the Saints football team who were here prior to the arrival of Bum 4 years ago. That's already his career game high, those figures. We've got better than a half to go. Here's Riggs again around the right side.
See that little burst of speed toward the sideline?
May have been a fumble. Ball was wrestled loose. The Saints have recovered. Gary was shaken up on the play, number 20.
Watch the fullback now. He tucks it underneath there. He's got it in his right arm. He thought about cutting back. Now he uses his speed coming inside out on him. There's Ricky. There he is, Jackson, number 57. Russell Gary's going to go over and scramble for the football. I could not see it go out, but it's obvious that it's out of there.
And Gary, the defensive back, comes up with the fumble recovery, and that's the one thing the Falcons didn't want to have happen. Gary was shaken up a little bit. He's missed the last couple of preseason games with a sore knee, but he says he's all right. And now the Saints have a chance to take the lead with 1:16 left to play in the half, and a first down at the Atlanta 20-yard line. Richard Todd pitching to Rogers. Guyson leading the interference, and Rogers is down to the 15. Picked up 5. John Rady, number 59, on the tackle.
Atlanta has changed their defense over on the tight end side in front of Hobie Brenner now. They're moving the defensive end out on him, who's a big, strong man, and moving the linebacker back inside. Hobie still did a pretty good job of blocking on Don Smith, number 65.
Well, they like that left side, don't they, the Saints?
Yes, they do. They have Dave LaFari over there and Brad Edelman, 2 fine football players, and they're going to run behind them.
Timeout. Saints are on the move. They have a second down, 4. There's your timeout situation. Saints have only 1 left. New Orleans operating from the Atlanta 15, trying to capitalize on this turnover. Richard, that time we had a flag, and I have to believe that Gary Burley was a little anxious, over anxious.
A little anxious here, playing his first game with this new team. Going to impress people.
Offside, Atlanta, as Burley tried to blow through there before the ball was snapped.
Watch the right corner of your screen, right down the right corner of your screen. He's coming from the tackle position. Oh, a little early. Go back there, Burley. Todd saying, what are you doing here? Get away from me.
That'll move it down to the 10. And will give the Saints a first down. They have 1 timeout left, 1:06 remaining in the half. They trail by 5, 19-14. Todd goes to Guyson up the middle, and Hokie Guyson takes it to the 4. Hurry up offense for the Saints. They have 1 timeout left. The clock is moving. That's the time remaining in the first half. 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. Rogers, left side. Rogers is over. Touchdown.
the right side of your screen. Now watch Hoagie Gajon, the fullback, 46, kick out on the defensive back, 27 right there. He turns back up inside. Look at that. Look at that power fighting your way. How'd you like to carry through that crowd, Frank?
Oh, that would be tough.
Huh? Kenny Johnson was in on there. Tommy Pridemore, 27, trying to get up there and make the play. Couldn't get at it.
Anderson with the extra point effort is good with 41 seconds to go. The Saints have recaptured the lead, 21-19. We gave you rig stats a moment ago. Rodgers has not had a bad first half. He's had 11 carries for 65 yards. So things interesting here at the Louisiana Superdome. These teams have played some great football games in the past. This looks like it's going to be another one. And Bum Phillips got to be feeling a little better right now. Halftime, just 41 seconds away. And what do we have for you? All kinds of interesting things upcoming. We'll take you back to the studio in New York. Scores and highlights with Brent Nerve and a report from the U.S. Open. That and a lot more coming up at intermission. Dan Henning, the head coach of the Falcons, trying to get his team back in the playoffs after a record of 7-9 last year. They started off very slowly, had a record of only 2 wins against 5 losses. He's had a lot of pressure he's been under. His dad is seriously ill. He's been commuting back east. Of course, the loss of Andrews had to upset him greatly. Morton Anderson will kick off. And once again, the single deep man is Sylvester Stamps, and they go with the short kick. Little number that's fielded at the 35-yard line by Alma Matthews. So the Falcons have put it in play at their own 35. Coming up next Sunday on CBS, a full schedule of NFL games highlighted by the matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Giants are ahead of the Eagles right now in their opening game. Cowboys, of course, don't play until tomorrow, but we get a first-hand look at the quarterback controversy in Dallas on the NFL Today as Phyllis George talks to Gary Hogeboom. And for those of you not watching that game, you fans of the Falcons and the Saints will see your own teams at 12:30 Eastern Time.
We'll be in Atlanta next week, Frank, doing
That's
that.
right. First and 10 at the 34-yard line. Barkowski comes out throwing. Another penalty marker goes down as he hits White Shoes over on the far sideline for just a couple of yards on the play.
They might have called an illegal chuck. I'm not sure. No, illegal movement. Yeah.
This will be the 10th penalty against Atlanta in the first half. I mean, that's more than you usually get in a ball game.
It really is. It's way above average, and I think it's above average for them. They use a lot of formations, do a lot of things in terms of
The
movement.
man in motion, number 85, was going forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty.
The more things you do like that, the more things you expose yourself.
Alfred Jackson, number 85, is the man the referee Gene Barth was talking about.
Look what happened when he started to go forward a little early. See him turn up early right there? Now watch this. Go boom! Right up underneath the chin. That is a legal chuck inside that 5-yard zone.
Courtesy of Ricky Jackson. First down, 15. Again, it's Jackson in motion. This time the handoff to Lynn Kane. And Kane is out to the 35 to the 38-yard line, as it now appears, that the Falcons going to let the clock run out. What a first half. 2-point ball game, 21-19. The Saints leading the Falcons. It has been back and forth, back and forth.
Bartkowski is really good in these situations, and New Orleans can't afford to relax, regardless of the 26-second situation. He has won 7 games in his career, Frank, with the final drive of the game. You know, he has the great poise, the great experience, and you've got to be careful relaxing and relying on the clock to stop the offense. It won't happen.
Well, the Falcons have apparently called a timeout, so maybe they're going to go with one of these Big Ben type plays or something. I don't know.
They won a great big game down here in 1980 on a Hail Mary.
I was here.
I was coaching, and I remember Atlanta that kept them going toward the playoff race.
Remember the last time you were in this stadium?
Yeah. Remember that? We just saw that guy go in motion and go illegal procedure going forward. That happened to us here, and it cost us a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
In the Superdome against the Raiders.
The old Oakland Raiders, now the Los Angeles Raiders.
Well, Bartkowski has got his marching orders. 2nd down, 5 needed for the 1st down. Falcons at their 39. That's the time left in the 1st half. And should they choose to use them, the Falcons have 2 timeouts left. White Shoes in motion. He's going to air it out. Goes over the middle to Billy White Shoes Johnson at the 49-yard line. And they'll stop it. Falcons use yet another timeout, which will leave them with 1.
Remember, they have a very fine field goal kicker in Mick Luckhurst. The guy is very good field goal kicker. In fact, in the preseason, he is 2 from 2 between the 40 and the 49, so he can kick that long field goal.
Again, Bartkowski over to get his instructions from his head coach, Dan Henning. Bart, yesterday, when we talked to him, he indicated after he gets out of football, he is thinking very seriously of going into the ministry. He's very involved with kids. And by the way, he wanted us to make sure that we said hello to his youngster, Phil, 3-year-old.
Yeah, birthday was it, or just wanted to say hello? What was it?
I think he said it's the first time he's watched the ball game and knows what's going on.
At 3 years old, he could watch the ball game and understand what his dad does for a living.
That's right.
I think Bart said not so much as a professional in the ministry, just as a layman, contribute his time and efforts to helping young people. And he feels that the more people that have established themselves like he has as a so-called sports celebrity should be trying to make this contribution.
If they get close enough, maybe they'll let Luckers try that drop kick, which he did in the Denver preseason game on an extra point try. Confused everybody. The opposition, the officials. As it turned out, the kick was no good, but Henning says he could kick that drop kick from 50 yards.
Running. He can do it running as well. He was practicing in the pregame warm-up.
1st down for the Falcons at their 49. 18 seconds left in the half. Bartkowski goes over the middle to White Shoes. 50, 45, down to the 42-yard line. Clock continues to roll now inside of 10 seconds. They do have 1 timeout left. I don't know if they're going to get this play off. Now they're going to stop it. We have a tape of that drop kick. This is something you probably haven't seen in the National Football League maybe in years and years.
There's Luckhurst, number 18, standing right between Petz and Dan Henning. Now watch this. The ball is a direct snap back to him. Now some of you fans that have watched football as a kid 35, 40 years ago might have seen this. I have never seen it in a football game. Now he drops it down. It's a legal kick. Up it goes. It's over the right corner of the goalpost. No good. Can you imagine if he'd have made that thing?
Well, it confused the officials a little bit, and they finally got their act together, and they said it was no good. But who knows? You know, the reason they don't do it now is because the football is a different shape.
Yeah, the football is not as round as it used to be. And Henning said, if we can't do something like that to have fun in the preseason, when can we do it? You know, good point.
Falcons are out of timeouts now, so we are down to the last play of the 1st half, and this is about the spot, as I remember. And I was here in 1980 for that game where he unloaded that big man, had all the wide receivers to the right side, threw it down toward the end zone, and he batted it around on about the 5-yard line, and Jackson came down with it for a touchdown that won the ball game for him.
The problem with the Falcons in regard to wide receivers is most of the wide receivers are in that 6-foot range and less, the 5'10", 5'11" range, and they don't have that big, tall 6'5" wide receiver. They could put a tight end or Benson out there, 87. Yeah, they have. He's a 6'3" guy.
Now they got 2 wideouts to the left and 1 to the right. Last play of the 1st half. Bartkowski lets it go into the end zone. Actually, short of the end zone, it is knocked down, intended for Bailey out there, but he had no shot.
Tell you, he hit that play last year against Green Bay at the end of the season. Remember, to Stacey Bailey?
That's the end of the 1st half here in New Orleans with the Saints leading the Falcons 21-19.
Quality and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. Apple Computer, makers of the new Apple IIc, a serious computer of incredible proportions. And by Quaker State Motor Oil, now in new easy-to-pour and easy-to-reseal plastic bottles.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger along with Irv Cross. Dan Marino's having a great day, and so too the New Orleans Saints. They lead the Atlanta Falcons right now at the half, 21-19. A couple of touchdowns for Big George Rogers, of course, in that game. And here's the game of the day. Miami over Washington 21-10. And Marino has thrown 3 touchdown passes. He's at least 13 of 16 now. He's hit Duper from 26 yards and 74 yards. And now he has thrown 6 yards to Jim Jensen in that game. St. Louis and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have just scored again, and now they lead the Cardinals. Irv Cross has picked to win it all this year, but they'll regroup in the second half. It is 20-7. San Diego and Minnesota. Dan Fouts has thrown 2 touchdown passes, 21 and 18 yards to Wes Chandler. Pete Johnson scored on a 1-yard burst. Tampa Bay and Chicago. Many of you are watching this game. The Bears leading at the half, 13-7. Kansas City and Pittsburgh, Wild and Woolley with the Chiefs leading in Pittsburgh, 24-17. David Woodley, incidentally, went 80 yards to rookie wide receiver Luis Lips in that game. Philadelphia and the Giants, and Phil Simms has had a good afternoon.
Just goes to show what he can do when he's healthy, Brent. Watch the sequence of plays. Simms going back on a drop-back pass, hits Zeke Moat, number 84, for touchdown pass number 1 on the day. A few plays later, taking play action, going deep this time to Byron Williams for a 65-yard scoring strike. Bobbles the ball a little bit there, but hangs on for the score. But Phil Simms is not through yet. Phil, who'd been down with an illness all week long, was expected to be fairly weak today, started, and here's touchdown pass number 3 to Bob Johnson, a rookie out of Kansas, and the Giants have this game well in hand, 21-6.
Indeed. Now, the New England Patriots, and a lot of folks expect big things from them in the AFC this year. 21-3, they're over the Bills. They're in the third quarter there. In San Francisco and Detroit, 14-13 right now. The 49ers lead the Lions. The NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local station. All right, Pat, and we'll continue now with our coverage of the NFL on CBS as we throw you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying.
We're at halftime in New Orleans with the Saints leading the Atlanta Falcons 21-19. More upcoming at halftime in just a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Isuzu, maker of fine cars and trucks. Delta Faucet, when they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're off. And by Wagner, the right tool for painting.
It has been a seesaw first half of football here in New Orleans with the Saints leading the Atlanta Falcons 21-19. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Atlanta led 5-0 early. Then George Rogers put the Saints ahead with a short run for a touchdown.
Here he goes. This is the one he took the ball, turned up inside now. He reaches out with his right hand, the ball in his right hand. See this? He's in the crowd. Now watch the ball as he sticks it in the end. Doesn't look like he's going to get there. Now watch the ball. There it is. Touchdown.
Saints leading 7-5 at that point, and Atlanta regaining the lead. This Alfred Jackson touchdown reception.
There he is driving deep. Now watch him come back to the ball. David Waymer, 44, comes up to make the tackle. Misses the tackle. Now Alfred Jackson, who they missed for a number of the games last year, look at the big play he's making. He's going to run it in for the score. Is it a touchdown? Very controversial call.
They rule it is, and Atlanta leads 12-7. Then Tyrone Young of the Saints going up high to take a ball away for this touchdown as the Saints go back up in front.
Richard Todd lays it up for that big 6'6" guy, and he just goes up on top and takes it away. Look at this. Look at the jumping ability.
Saints
Imagine
lead it
finding
now.
him as a free agent.
14-12. And after a long drive, Gerald Riggs inches into the end zone to put Atlanta back out in front.
Big Gerald, here he comes, pounding up inside. The same type of play that Rodgers ran for New Orleans, going the other direction, Frank. The I lead play. Very standard goal line play.
And late in the halftime, following an Atlanta fumble, George Rogers jams it in from 5 yards away.
Watch the I lead, I toss right here. Watch the fullback now. He gets a nice kick-out block. There's a nice block there by Lafari, number 64, and he's up in there standing up. Edelman, number 63.
It was a penalty-marred first half, but nevertheless a lot of exciting football plays. What do you think about the second half, Coach?
Well, I think really New Orleans has proved they can run the ball on this guy, and if they just go ahead and pound at him and maybe maintain ball control, it could be tough on Atlanta. Atlanta, I think, is playing better defense than we saw them play last year, especially in the inside of that defensive line. They're having a little trouble on the outside stopping that I toss. They've got to come up with a way to stop that.
Well, New Orleans didn't throw long, perhaps couldn't throw long last year, but I think they've remedied that with Richard Todd.
Right, and it's obvious in the game plan they're audibling to the man-to-man coverage that they see, and they're trying to get that single coverage and say, go ahead, Richard, throw the ball deep, and let's see if we can't get the big one, which they could not do last year.
Both running backs having a very big first half rushing. Gerald Riggs for Atlanta doing an outstanding job. He's got 93 yards, and then, of course, George Rogers.
Well, they're both fine football players. It's too bad that he had to fumble the football. Gerald Riggs fumbling the ball right there before the half and setting up the touchdown drive. But if you carry the football enough, you're going to fumble it once in a while.
Do you think that perhaps the Saints had a problem with Atlanta coming in after Andrews got hurt? They thought, well, maybe this is going to be a little easier than we thought, and you're not really as up as you should be.
I think everybody is up for that first football game. First off, you're out of training camp. You're excited about that. And to be able to go ahead and attack a good football team like Atlanta is attacking New Orleans attacking Atlanta, it's exciting. And it's more exciting sometimes for the home team.
Bum Phillips, you saw, gathering his Saints around him. And the Falcons breaking their huddle. And as we get ready for the second half kickoff, let's take a look at some selected stats from the first half, which may prove to be interesting so far. It's been back and forth. Total yardage, Falcons have the edge after a very bad first half. I mean, Bartkowski didn't, or the first quarter, Bartkowski didn't complete a single pass in the first period, and then came on very strong, had 6 out of 9 for 111 yards in the second period of play. And then penalties have been a big factor in this game.
They have. They just kill you. And they've been the little picky type penalties, you know, the little push from the back in the kicking game and that type of thing. And they just slow the whole ball game down. But chances are in the second half we won't see as many. The players have calmed down a little bit. And chances are it'll be just a real fast, hard-hitting football game in the second half.
Morton Anderson will be kicking off for the Saints, and Sylvester Stamps, number 41, the rookie from Jackson State, which of course is Walter Payton's old school, will be back on the receiving end. This is the 5th time that these two clubs have met in a season opener. And thus far it's been all Atlanta. The Falcons have won all 4 of their previous season openers. Right now, Saints leading 21-19. We're underway in the second half. Great hang time on that kick by Anderson. Stamps out to the 10, 15, and tripped up at the 20-yard line. Again, it was Guido Merkins, number 8 and 19, who was in there quickly for New Orleans.
That's the second time he's come up with a real big play, and you can see why Bum keeps him on the roster. Guido Merkins. Guido, he plays wide receiver, he plays quarterback, he has played defensive back, and he has punted for them.
1st and 10 for the Falcons at their 20-yard line. Trailing by 2 as we start the second half of play. Steve Bartkowski at the helm. Steve sat out the last preseason game with a case of the virus last week. That's what he's done so far here in the first half of play. Well, they start where they left off, but with not quite as much success, sending Riggs over the right side. Dennis Winston stacks him up after virtually no gain of the play.
They started right out with that H-back in motion trying to trap the nose guard, and got a nice block on the nose guard, but the other defenders, notably Bruce Clark, did a nice job of filling it.
Give him a yard on the play. Called it 2nd down 9 for the Falcons at their 21-yard line. Mike Ken there, the offensive tackle. Veteran Pro Bowler, one of the best offensive linemen in the National Football League. Jackson to the left side, Bailey to the right. White Shoes Johnson in motion on the passing situation. They go out to Bailey. Bailey, 25, and is stopped just shy of the 30-yard line by Dave Weimer, number 44, the left cornerback.
That's a very interesting play. They fake inside and bring both linemen, the offensive right tackle, Brett Miller, number 62, and John Scully, 61, out in front of the wide receiver and run a quick screen. It's a very successful offensive play in terms of yardage per attempt through a season.
They're looking at about 1.5 yards for the first down. 3rd down, little more than 1 yard at the 29-yard line. Bartkowski intended for Bailey. Now Bartkowski is not thought to be very mobile, yet they're using some of that sprint out.
Now, they like to call that kind of thing just to change up where the pocket's going to be. Normally, he is a straight drop back passer, but if they also have to worry about him doing that delayed rollout made famous in the Washington Redskin offense by Theismann, see, you don't have to be real fast, and he's more mobile this year because he had his knee operated on the offseason, and as he said yesterday, Frank, the knee feels so much better. He feels like a kid again.
Jack Amaro will do the punting. Kicked twice in the first half. And Jitter Fields is deep. 5th round draft pick out of the University of Texas. Great kick. Backs Jitter up to the 20. 25. This little man reminds Bum Phillips, he told us yesterday, a great deal of Roaches. Young man he had at Houston who is just an excellent kick returner. Timeout following a 51-yard punt. Saints' first offensive possession of the second half. They lead it 21-19. They have a 1st and 10 at their 33-yard line after the 13-yard punt return by Jitter Fields. Richard Todd has gone all the way at quarterback. Rodgers, the bread and butter man. 40, 50, and out of bounds at the 43 of Atlanta. He is some horse.
Oh, he is a horse, but I'll tell you, the key to that was the great block by the tight end on John Rady, the outside linebacker, number 59. Watch the tight end right here come right out here and block that linebacker. The fullback comes and he blocks the safety who's coming up there. He runs it outside and comes right up in there. How do you like that hen scratch? Take a look at this one. Now watch the tight end blocking the linebacker. Look at, he annihilates him right there. He still owns him, knocking him off the ball. Rodgers comes up with his big strength and speed, and he's down the sideline. How'd you like to be able to run that fast at 225 pounds?
1st and 10 at the 43. That's a 24-yard pickup for George Rodgers. He now has 89 yards rushing in the ball game, and here he goes again, or tries to. This time the Falcons are ready for him and stop him at the 45 for a loss of a couple of yards. Rick Bryan, the rookie tackle, #1 draft choice, combining with Tom Pridemore. Takes more than one to bring Rodgers down.
Look at that big guy. You know, he was a 3-time All-Big 8 academic player. I mean, a real smart guy. I didn't know that defensive linemen were supposed to be that smart, did you?
Well, I didn't either. Played great defense against the run, and that's why the Falcons were enamored of him, because that's one of their problem areas that they're trying to correct. 2nd down, 13. Saints at the Falcon 45-yard line. They own a 2-point lead. Todd, good protection. Airs it out for Scott. Incomplete. They rule it incomplete. I thought he had it for a moment, but he did. He went up.
It looked like he had it, but then when he came down. Now watch him at the left-hand side of your screen. Number 80, Scott. He's going one-on-one here with James Britt, number 26. Now he turns and runs. Britt can really run fast, but he can't turn real well. Here's 37, Kenny Johnson, coming over to make the play. Scott has it. Does he keep it? You call it, Frank.
Came out when it hit the ground. Yeah. Looked like to me.
Evidently did not have it.
It's ruled an incompleted forward pass. That'll set up 3rd and 12. Well, Lindsey Scott has got to be happy to see Todd in a New Orleans uniform, the way he can throw long.
Well, the other thing here, here's an audible again. Here's an audible. See the back move up to pick up the dogging linebacker. They bluff it.
Wilson. Incomplete. Couldn't hold it.
Atlanta did a good thing, Frank. They went up and faked the safety blitzers and the linebacker dogs and then backed out. Todd audibled, and then they didn't do it. Good defense by Atlanta.
So that puts the Saints in a punting situation. New Orleans, 17 years in the National Football League, still looking for their first playoff berth.
You know, I think if if New Orleans right now forgot they could pass and just kept running that big horse, Atlanta might have a hard time getting the ball back.
Hanson will do the punting, and White Shoes is back there deep.
He had a great first half returning.
Hanson, a rookie from Sioux Falls.
Try to kick it out of bounds, Frank.
Bum Phillips says that's one of his strong suits and why they kept him instead of Erxley.
Oh.
And he did it that time as he nailed it at the 4. He put 3 out of bounds inside the 10-yard line in the last exhibition game a week ago, and that cemented the punting job.
Take a look. Look at him finish that punt nicely. Way up in the air. Nice follow through. Now watch this ball come down right to the right side of your screen. Found on about the 3-yard line. It's going to come down. There it is. Out of bounds on the 3-yard line. Beautiful punt. That is a great defensive play. Now look how long that field is. It's 97 yards long.
42 yards on the kick by Hanson. Atlanta will have a first at the 3. Frank Lieber along with Dick Vermeil from the Louisiana Superdome. 21-19 Saints. And the Saints have the Falcons backed up to the shadow of their goal. Atlanta 1st and 10 from their own 3-yard line. Bartkowski trying to get him out of this, goes to Riggs. Riggs gets outside, breaks a couple of tackles, and picks up 11 yards. And enough for a first down. How's that for a tough run?
Well, he runs real hard in there. The other thing he did a nice job of using his blocks outside there. The H-back will be coming in motion as we watch this right now. Watch the H-back at the top of your screen. 87, working his way in. Now look at that number 57, Ricky Jackson, being concerned about him. Now watch him. Timing right. Now he turns up. Boom. He kicks him to the outside. Riggs moves up inside. He has that speed to run away from pursuit, and those big linemen can't catch him from behind.
One of the Saints, Kovacs, Jim Kovacs, the linebacker, was shaken up, number 52. He finally got his medical degree this year. He's been going to medical school since 1978. So he obviously is ready for life after football. We've got a timeout with 11:47 left in the third period.
This fall, Scott Baio gets an education when he takes on a family of 5.
The children know everything, Charles. We have cable TV.
It's Charles in Charge, coming soon on CBS.
Riggs is now over the 100-yard mark in rushing. He's got 105 yards in 22 carries. First down, Falcons at the 14. Riggs coming to this side, 15, 20, and out of bounds near the 25-yard line. I think he is going to be a little sore tomorrow.
He's going to be a little bit sore, but he can thank wide receiver number 82, Stacey Bailey, for a few extra yards. Now, Bailey, Frank, is not the most physical guy at 160 pounds, but he did a nice job of blocking downfield and allowed Riggs to bounce outside just a little bit wider.
Jim Kovacs, by the way, just had the wind knocked out of him. He is expected to be back.
He's probably on the sideline telling the doctor what is exactly wrong with him in medical terms.
Since he's a doctor, he can do that.
No, Doc. No, I don't agree with you.
Another first down for the Falcons, this time at the 25-yard line. Lynn Kane has come into the backfield, spelling Riggs. He takes it over the right side, out to about the 29. Riggs has already set a single-game high for himself in rushing attempts. His previous was 15, and he's already carried 23 times.
I believe he will end up carrying it more than the 33 times that is a club record.
Well, he's also set a personal record for yardage. His previous high was 72, and he's at 115 and counting right now. Second down, 5. Falcons at their 30. Benson in motion. Bartkowski going to Benson at the 50. Well, the H-back got a little action. Rookie from Purdue, and he's got to be happy.
Very clever little play. The wide receiver went up and then came back, faked a little screen, and then Benson slipped into the corner behind the... Benson, here he is. Now the quarterback's going to drop straight back again, and he's going to look to his left. Fullback is going to slide to his right. They're doubling the nose guard. Now see him look to the left. See, he's back there running that pattern on a safety right now, not a cornerback, because number 25, Poe, was pulled to the line of scrimmage on the fake quick screen by the wide receiver.
Benson, rookie starter, 5th-round draft pick from Purdue. 1st and 10, Falcons from midfield. Bartkowski in trouble behind the line, and down he goes at the 43.
Bartkowski wanted to set real short, see that, and let go ball quickly, but it was covered, and there's the defense. Didn't have time to regroup. Frank Waddle coming in on the safety blitz. Look at the signal there. Oop, that's a long stretch with a watch chain. No? What's that mean?
Roy Harris, the rookie lineman for the Falcons, will miss the rest of the game with a sprained ankle. Second down, 18 for the Falcons at their 42.
Unbalanced line.
Neither side has scored here in the second half. Delay, handoff to Kane. Gets to the 46.
You notice how, Frank, that the Atlanta is slipping Lynn Kane in the long yardage situation? He is a very good broken field runner. He can make the long run, and for a period of about 3 years, he had the longest run from line of scrimmage.
Played his college football at Southern Cal, where he understudied Charles White, who went on to win the Heisman Trophy. He had a 900-yard year for the Falcons back in 1980. He picked up 915.
Coached against, recruited him out of junior college. He was a junior college state player of the year. And
third down,
USC.
14 needed for the first for the Falcons at their 46. Bartkowski back to throw. Protection is excellent. Gets it away and completes it to Bailey. Let's see if they rule he was inbounds. Yes.
Oh, he's inbounds.
He's inbounds at the 32-yard line. First down. Falcons at the Saint 32.
They're doing a real good job. Now take a look at the secondary, the two defenders standing to the left of your screen. They're playing a two-deep zone right now. Now the other receivers are going to hold the corners up close. Now see the number 25 to the right side of your screen, and he hits the crease in the zone between the defender rotated up and that deep safety. Well conceived offensive play and extremely well executed.
23-yard pickup on the play and another Atlanta first down at the Saints 32-yard line. Jackson and Bailey both wide to the left side. Benson in motion. The nice fake by Bartkowski goes down deep. Intended for Bailey in the end zone. Couldn't catch up to it.
Again, the unbalanced line. See, they like to use that and try to create the mistake by the defense and then incorporate movement with one of their backs or wide receivers. In this case, it was the H-back, number 87.
Bailey, the successor to the department, Alfred Jenkins, they put him in the lineup last year. First 3 starts, he had 100 yards receiving in each game, so they knew they had something. Other scores.
Mackerel.
Miami is putting it on the Redskins in the 3rd period. Packers leading St. Louis. That's a 4th period score. San Diego and Minnesota are in the 3rd. Our score 21-19. Saints lead it. 2nd and 10. Kane on the sweep. Cuts back upfield. Crosses the 30 to about the 29, and then he is shoved back after a pickup of no more than 2 yards. Bruce Clark, number 75, former number 1 draft pick of the Packers. And Winston was shaken up on the play.
Now Winston is the right linebacker, number 56. See him standing there right in the middle of your screen. Now see him sliding with the play, moving inside out. Good linebacker technique. He does a nice job of avoiding right there. He's still moving inside out on the play, waiting for something to turn up inside. Here he comes inside out on it. It looked like when he made contact with his helmet, the two helmets made contact with each other and sort of stung him. Maybe knocked him out or knocked him dizzy.
He looks stunned for sure, and we've got a timeout. Saints leading the Falcons 21-19. Dirt Winston trying to clear a few cobwebs. Obviously had his bell rung on that last play, but he appears to be none the worse for the experience.
Yeah, he's a little dizzy right now. But
3rd down. Falcons need 8 for the first down. They're at the Saints 29. They trail by 2 with 8:51 left in the 3rd. White Shoes in motion, almost falls down. Bartkowski stands strong in the pocket and hits White Shoes out of bounds. He goes at the 20-yard line.
Boy, that is tough when you're isolated one-on-one on that guy. Johnny Poe, number 25, was isolated him short in that nickel coverage, and it's really tough to cover him like that.
Comeback player of the year.
Now watch him go in motion. Poe is moving to the left of your screen now. Now Bart's going to turn to his left. He's looking in the middle, freezes it. Now he lays it out there to the left. Now see the gap he had created by breaking away from the defender. First down, moving the ball. Sometimes they'll call that as a penalty, Frank.
White Shoes may be 32, but he can still play. That's a first down for the Falcons at the 20 of the Saints. Riggs, who is back in there, carries to the 15, perhaps the 14-yard line. Bruce Clark makes the stop.
That offensive line is becoming a little more physical in this drive. They're really coming off the ball. You know, they're big people up there with Brett Miller, the fine young lineman, and John Scully, the musician there at right guard. And then the old veteran, Jeff Van Note.
Van Note, the center in his 16th year in the National Football League, is the oldest active offensive lineman in the NFL. 2nd down, 5. Falcons from the 14-yard line, straight up the middle. Riggs fighting and slashing his way inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line, and that is going to be good for another first down. It'll be 1st and goal to go for the Falcons.
I'm not so sure that they didn't use an influence block in the inside and sort of sucker the defensive rookie tackle in there, Don Thorpe. Now watch the center, Jeff Van Note, right there. See him right now? They came around and doubled on him. That's what they did, a nice trap block. Tillman, number 68, goes on up and picks off the linebacker. They did a nice job of doubling the nose. For a second there, Frank, I thought they'd influenced him, but they put 2 guys on him.
Time remaining in the 3rd period as the Falcons try to reclaim the lead. First down, goal to go from the 8-yard line. Flag down as Lynn Kane takes the handoff and goes to the 4. But once again, the marker was dropped.
Might have been moving forward when the ball was snapped. The motion man. Illegal movement, yeah.
Against Atlanta, that'll cost him 5.
Yeah. See, Atlanta has 2 tight ends in there, now 1 wide receiver and their H-back. And their H-back is more like a tight end than he is a running back.
Illegal motion, number 49. The man in motion was going forward at the snap.
The H-back, Al Matthews, number 49.
Alama Matthews made a mistake.
Why do they call him the H-back anyway?
I don't know. Maybe the PR department. You know, Bum Phillips probably got the one-back attack going in football, but remember he said he didn't have a fancy name for that one guy.
Penalties have murdered Atlanta so far. First down, goal to go now from the 13. Kane to about the 10. Of course, keep in mind, a field goal will give the Falcons the lead here midway in the 3rd period. Lynn Kane.
R.C. Tillman and Mike Ken, the left guard and left tackle, might be as fine a tandem as there is in football. Both playing the Pro Bowl, and they're running up behind them right now. Running over there at Jim Wilkes, number 94, and Whitney Paul, 51, the outside linebacker.
Kane in his 6th year from USC. Again, giving Riggs a spell. Second down, goal to go. Now from the 10. Again, it's Kane. Not much room over the left side.
Boy, they swarm.
They will come after you.
They fly around that field.
Saints defense, which set 8 team defensive records last year, and were number 2 overall in the National Football League.
Number 1 against the pass.
This team that Bum is building in New Orleans, very much like his Houston team.
Yeah.
Strong arm quarterback, good running back, stout defense.
Yeah, and then the offensive line coming along. And now I think that the added dimension of Todd getting the ball deep and that kind of thing will maybe put him into the playoffs.
Next to Bum there on his left is his son Wade, who is the defensive coordinator. 3rd down, goal to go from the 10. White shoes in motion, flag down. Bartkowski trying to get it out to Jackson.
Well,
there was 2 flags, one at the line of scrimmage as the ball was snapped. It could be offsetting penalties. But they allowed Jackson no room at all to get to the end zone.
We have a defender down out there that got tied up in that bump and run coverage. Dave Waymer, number 44. He hurt his knee.
We have offsetting fouls. Interference, 44 defense, illegal motion. The lineman was not set when the man went in motion. Offsetting foul.
So that means they'll play it over, but hurting right now is David Waymer, the outstanding defensive back for the New Orleans Saints. You know, we were talking to David yesterday, and I was saying that, gee, you guys have played together. No one's been hurt. No one had a serious injury.
Here he is squatted down in there in that tight bump and run position. Now, see, now he comes down inside. Now watch him get caught right there. See that get caught right there? He got tied up with number 85, Alfred Jackson, and went down. It doesn't look like it's serious.
Well, you saw Johnny Poe, number 25, kind of shove Jackson toward Waymer, and then they were
trying to switch off there. David Waymer. He's a stockbroker in the offseason. Would you give him money to investment?
Certainly.
The way he's playing corner
Notre
today,
Dame man.
Too. Darn right.
There's Johnny Poe, who was guilty of the pass interference penalty. One thing about this secondary, and Bum's really happy with it, they don't have the big name guy back there. They got 4 guys who have played together, and they're all under 25, and they're playing together now for the 4th year, and they have great chemistry.
They really do. Plus, Frank, they all came to town in about February, and they started working out 2 and 3 days a week as a unit all the way into training camp. That's enthusiasm and dedication.
All right, with the offsetting penalties, it is 3rd down once again, and goal to go for the Falcons at the Saint 10-yard line. Jackson in motion. Was Wilkes, number 94, Jim Wilkes. Let's see if he was drawn offside.
I don't think so. I didn't see anybody move.
Offside, 94 defense. He made contact before the snap. 5-yard penalty.
So that'll move it to the 5. That was fairly obvious.
Tell you, might have made it a little bit tougher on the offense by giving him that 5 yards because you have less room to operate now. It makes it a little bit more physical, and that chuck area is now the goal line.
Third down, goal to go. Falcons at the Saints 5. They trail by 2 with 5:54 left in the third. Bartkowski puts the floater out there at 6 points. Stacy Bailey.
Well, they went after the right guy.
Rodney Lewis.
He does a nice job in this bump and run. Now watch him stick him to the inside. Cha-cha-cha, break to the outside. Rodney Lewis playing for the injured David Waymer right now. And Bart, with his experience and the fine backup coaching there, goes after the right guy, the inexperienced player. There's old Bummer. And
Saints.
Wade right there next to him.
Saints playing catch-up again now. Falcons have recaptured the lead, 25-21. The extra point try to come from Luckhurst. He's got it.
Frank, this Atlanta Falcon team is an impressive football team. The only thing they don't have is the great defense, and it really looks like it's improved. It really looks improved.
Well, there you see the longest drive of the day, 96 yards by the Falcons. They were backed up to their goal line. Took them 15 plays to march down the field. Climaxed by Bartkowski's 5-yard toss to Bailey.
And that's the kind of football that Dan Henning likes to play and likes to coach. Ball control, eat up the clock, pound on them on first down, mix the pass in there. Extremely well executed offensive drive.
Now they've got Jitter Fields and Duckett deep. Duckett at the 9, 15, out to the 20, near sideline, 25, 30. And it is Luckhurst, the kicker, who forces him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. U.S. Open tennis coming up right after the football game. Our featured match this afternoon, third seed Jimmy Connors against Andre Leconte from Flushing Meadow in New York. Connors with Brian Godfrey to advance to the third round, and Leconte beat Peter Dewitt. We'll have it for you. Greatest 2 weeks in tennis at Flushing Meadow continues with exclusive coverage on CBS this afternoon. First down, 10. Falcons at the 37. Rogers. They slowed him down before he got to the line of scrimmage that time.
What they did that time is they let Buddy Curry, number 52, the inside linebacker, run through the inside of the play rather than trying to meet him out there in the perimeter, and it was effective. But you've got to be careful doing that, because if you get picked off, then you don't have that inside linebacker filling like he normally fills.
They give him a yard on the play. It'll be second down 9 for the Saints at their 39-yard line. They trail 26-21 late in the third period. Richard Todd out to Wilson, and that is diagnosed just perfectly by David Fry, number 58, outside linebacker, a free agent last year who started the last couple of games.
He was locked on to a man-to-man, and as the quarterback turned to lay it off. Now watch the quarterback drop back. You'll see 58 left. See right in the left corner of your screen, he turns to throw it, and Fry had already made his move. It's lucky that he didn't intercept it. He was man-to-man on the tailback all the way, number 30.
And Wilson with no place to go. That shoves him back to the 31-yard line. And the Saints now looking at a third down and 17. Todd is 9 out of 20 for 106 yards.
He's audibling right now. Atlanta's bluffing. Yeah, they're coming after him.
One-on-one coverage. Goodlow is over there at the far sideline. Makes the catch at the 50-yard line for the first down. Eugene Goodlow.
You know, Frank, I don't quite understand that. You're ahead in the football game 21-6. You've got him third and real long. Why safety blitz him? Put these people one-on-one. Now look at the receiver come give him a little juke to the inside, turns to the outside. Britt can't get over there to make the play. The ball was thrown right where it had to be thrown. He had good pressure on him and everything like that, but gosh, I don't know. There's always differences in philosophies, I'm sure.
Goodlow, outstanding receiver, left school at Kansas State after his sophomore year when they fired the coaching staff and went to play in Canada. So the Saints had to wait several years on him in his graduating class. Left school, and they could draft him. First and 10 from the 49 of Atlanta. Rogers stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Boy, that defensive front is a lot more solid than it was last year. They're controlling the line of scrimmage right now.
Saints have had great success going to the left side. Doesn't seem like Atlanta has changed anything over there.
No, they didn't change that time. They left the linebacker was on the tight end, and who's been having trouble with that tight end, Big Hobie Brenner. But that time, the defensive end, 74, Brits and Burley, 73, the tackle worked that play and just really stuffed it.
Riggs and Rogers, the two star running backs today, and that's the way they compare so far. Riggs having the best of it. 2nd and 10, Saints from the Atlanta 49. Todd gets it out to Guyson. And Hokie Guyson can't hold it.
Hokie might have taken his eyes off the ball and started running with that. That is a design play. He goes out there, they turn the linebacker loose and dump it over his head. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They did it. He just didn't catch it. He's got to catch that ball.
Saints last year were 6th in rushing in the National Football League, but they were 26th in passing. So that's where they're trying to make it up this year offensively.
They won't be 26th this year.
3rd down, 10. The Falcons lead by 5. Again, showing the blitz, Atlanta.
Well, they're bluffing this time.
Todd flushed out of the pocket. Going long, Goodlow at the goal line, tipped away. And a fine defensive play by Britt, number 26.
You know, Todd might be thinking deep just a little too much, Frank. Got to make those first downs because Atlanta is controlling the ball here in this second half. Real nice defensive play, a point of going for the ball at its highest point. See Britt right up there, 26, with that right hand reach up there. Defensive coaches, Frank, always say, go after that ball at the highest point. James Britt, number 26, did that.
Brian Hansen comes in to do the punting. Last time he nailed it out of bounds at the 3. Billy Johnson has had a couple of excellent returns, and they get him. They get him at the 36-yard line. Blaine Guyson, number 34, came blowing through there, and Hansen never got it away.
I'm not sure what happened there, Frank. He doesn't get a chance. Go ahead, punt it, punt it. No.
He did some job, Guyson, of hurdling the blocker.
Here's a better look of it right now. See the guy coming around the outside right there, number 34, Guyson? He gets a little piece up by the defender. Looked like he should have gone ahead, moved forward, and punted it.
It was Terry Hogue, the former Georgia star, who tried to block Guyson and got just a piece of him. The Falcons have excellent field position at the 37-yard line of the Saints. Riggs up the middle, down to the 32. Well, he's a rookie, right? You kept the rookie, you got to pay the price every once in a while.
Well, maybe, no, that's, I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but it looked like from the sideline angle anyway that when he saw that pressure and the guy dive in the air, if he could have just moved forward, but maybe he was too far into the action of punting.
That's the time remaining in the 3rd period. I thought Hansen kind of froze. I mean, he saw him coming and he just froze.
Yeah. I think they're going to go ahead. They're gaining momentum right now, Frank, and just drive the football at him. Just keep punching at him. That offensive line's coming off the ball. Here they are in the unbalanced. No, excuse me, not unbalanced.
2nd down, 5 at the 32-yard line. Riggs behind the line.
Getting a little too fancy.
Tried to do a little dance back there, and Reggie Lewis.
Well, that was an intricate play with the H-back coming all the way across to get the block, and it didn't time out right. Nice play by the defender, Ricky Jackson.
So it'll be 3rd down now, and 6 needed for the 1st down. Atlanta has really done a job on New Orleans statistically in total offense. Falcons have moved it up and down the field, and this is against what last year was the number 2 defense in the NFL.
Atlanta can play offense with the best of them, and now that the defense has improved, the fortunes look greater. Oh.
Flags all over the place.
Come on.
Did the Saints jump off, or did the Falcons pull them off?
No.
Defense number 57 offside.
Come on, Ricky. You have too much experience to do that.
Ricky Jackson, Pro Bowler last year. Teammate of Hugh Green at Pittsburgh. The Green got all the publicity.
He's just getting anxious. He knows he's going to run a red dog. See number 57 to the right side of your screen. Now, he's trying to time it right on the snap. Up, long snap. Sure there. Now, he thinks if he gets back without making contact with anybody, and the ball isn't snapped, it wouldn't be a penalty. Well, he didn't make it.
Sold out Superdome. They sold 71,000 seats. They have 4,400 no-shows, so 66,000 plus are in attendance. Now instead of 3rd and 6, it is 3rd and 1 for the Falcons.
Here's that unbalanced line, Frank.
They go with the blitz. Riggs fights his way through for the first down at the 24, and yet another flag.
Probably going to be holding. See, with that unbalanced line, they get the two big tackles lined up side by side. That means you have 280 pounds lined up next to 270 pounds coming off the ball.
94 defense, 5-yard face mask penalty, first down.
Jim Wilkes, the defensive lineman for the Saints, guilty of the face mask call. Would have been a first down either way. That moves it to the 19-yard line. 1st and 10 for Atlanta.
Take a look at the unbalanced line. The man to your left side of your screen is a big offensive tackle. The man to the right side of your screen in the tackle position is a tight end. See?
Give you an idea what that unbalanced line looks like. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Bartkowski, swing pass out to Jackson. Jackson 20, out at the 17. One more flag. This one will go against Atlanta. This will be the 12th penalty in the ball game on the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints have been penalized 7 times. Here's the call from Gene Barth.
49 offense holding, still first down.
Al Matthews, the H-back in the Atlanta offense, guilty of the holding call. That'll move it back to the 27-yard line. First down at 20.
They're stopping themselves right now, Frank.
A minute 29 left in the 3rd period. Bartkowski, cool customer. Lynn Kane fights his way to the 25. When Bartkowski came into the league, he was the #1 player picked in the entire draft. It was the same year that Walter Payton came up. Payton was the 4th player that year, and Randy White of the Cowboys was the 2nd player. The big question is, who was the 3rd?
I couldn't tell you, Coach.
You'd never guess.
No, that was my first year in coaching, too.
Ken Huff of Baltimore, a guard, was picked ahead of Walter Payton. Other scores throughout the National Football League. Take a look at it. We've got some close games today. We've also got some lopsided games.
Chicago, I think Chicago is really one to watch all season. This one's a tight one.
2nd down, 16. Falcons at the 25. Blitz. He saw it. Bailey to about the 19-yard line.
Bart did a nice job. 10. Bart did a nice job, Frank. Excuse me for speaking over here, but he did a nice job of seeing that blitz come and just pop it off there short and quickly to the wide receiver.
4th catch for Bailey for 41 yards. White Shoes has also caught 4 this afternoon. 3rd down, a little more than 10. We'll call it 11 for the first down for the Falcons at the Saint 20-yard line. They lead 26-21. 15 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. This could be the last play of the quarter. Numbers on Bartkowski are excellent. Back to throw on 3rd and 11. Wide open at the 5-yard line is Bailey, out of bounds. Well, they shove him out at the 7. That's right at the 10-yard marker. Just about got the yardage needed for the first down as time runs out here in the 3rd period.
Now look at the wide receiver to your right, Bailey. Now watch him come off the football. Now he's going to drive the man deep, shoulders forward. Now look at 29. Look at him now. Lewis is going to be driven back. Now he comes back for the football again. Very fine technique and a very fine throw. Now they're working where Dave Waymer normally plays over there. The starting corner who's not playing. Rodney Lewis, they're a backup corner, and they're working on him.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Falcons 26, Saints 21. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Revving engines.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Superdome. Frank Lever along with Dick Vermeil as we head into the final period of play of the NFL regular season opener. Between the Falcons and the Saints, the Falcons are driving. They have a 1st and goal to go from the Saints' 7-yard line. They give it to Riggs, and Riggs plows his way forward to the 6, gets a yard, and a very tough yard at that.
It is tough, but Atlanta sure likes to run that wing back in there and pound on that nose guard. You know, the center's already blocking the nose guard, and then here comes that wing back. That's a devastating block. A lot of contact in that situation.
Cliff Benson leading the way, number 87 for the Falcons, and if you follow him a lot of the time, you can follow where that ball is going to go, because Riggs will be right behind him after he takes the handoff. 2nd and goal to go from the 6. Benson again in motion. Riggs right behind him, down to about the 2. You recall that Atlanta took over on the 37-yard line after Hansen failed to get that punt away. And so they've had a short distance to go on this drive, in contrast to the last drive, which they went 96 yards. Falcons 6 out of 11 in third down conversions, but significant in that they've made the last 5 third down conversions in a row. 3rd and goal, ball just outside the 2. They've got both Riggs and Kane in there. Kane starts in motion. Riggs, nose down, dives for the end zone. Did he get over? He is right down there. If he didn't, no indication. It looks, well, he couldn't get much closer. It will be inside the 1-yard line, 4th down, and again Henning will have a decision. Last time he went for it.
I think they'll go for it right now.
Last time, you'll recall, they were down in the 3 and had a 3rd and 1, and they went for it. And they'll go for it again.
That offensive line is capable of getting them those 6 inches, and not that the Saints can't stop them, but it makes it tough. They're in the unbalance.
4th and goal. Riggs leaps over the left side. Touchdown.
Boy, that was close.
So the Falcons put back-to-back scores on the Saints. This has been a back-and-forth ball game. One side scores, and then the other. It's the first time that one team has scored twice in a row.
Look at Lynn Kane, 21's going to block out. Now watch him dive up in the air. There he is. He is in the end zone. There's a touchdown. He got up over the top as the offensive lineman fired out low to bring the defenders down.
So it'll be up to Mr. Luckhurst now to tack on the extra point with 13 minutes and 11 seconds left to play in this football game. And the Falcons holding a 32-21 advantage. Mike Morosky, the backup quarterback, is the holder. The kick is good. And the Falcons have scored 33 on one of the top defenses in the National Football League. Timeout. A relatively short drive for the Falcons, set up when Hansen, the rookie, couldn't get the punt off for the Saints, and climaxed by Riggs' 1-yard run. So the Falcons have the biggest lead of this ball game right now. 12-point advantage with 13:11 to go. Luckhurst will kick to either Duckett on the left or Fields on the right.
They're overloading the one side and going to kick to the right side of the field here and defense that side only.
Jitter fields it at the 5. Comes back toward the middle. 10, 15, 20, 25. Out to the 35-yard line, and he almost broke it.
The strategy of that kickoff coverage to overload personnel on the right side and kick it to the right and defenses to the right almost backfired, Frank.
Richard Todd coming back to quarterback the Saints. Coming up tonight on CBS, the usual great Sunday night lineup. Starts off with 60 minutes. And one day at a time, Goodnight Beantown, the Jeffersons Alice, and Trapper John M.D. That'll be tonight, following the tennis, which follows the football game. 1st and 10, Saints at their 35. Swing pass to Rogers, 30, 35, another marker out at the 41-yard line.
Great pursuit by the young #1 pick, Rick Bryan, coming inside out on that play.
Calvin Clark.
Mike Pitts is down on the field right now, the defensive left end.
Clark may have been the guilty party here. Let's see. For the Saints, that's another guy they can't really afford to lose because they don't have the depth there. Pitts, #1 draft pick a year ago from Alabama.
Illegal use of the hands, number 68 out, man.
So the penalty against Calvin Clark of the Saints will cost them 10, move it back to the 25-yard line.
Kelvin Clark is the right guard in this situation, coming out on the right-hand side of your screen. We're going to see if he can get a block. See him coming in the middle of your screen there right now. Now watch. Yeah, hit him in the back. It is. That's one of those things he could not avoid. It wasn't intentionally done.
That's the story at this point here in the final period at the Louisiana Superdome. Saints have a 1st and 20 following the holding penalty. Wayne Wilson gets the call, and Wilson out across the 30 to the 35, squirts loose to about the 38. Wilson suffered a very serious injury in high school, so serious that he was operated on the night after the game, had his spleen removed, and he has got some scar to show for that. Some thought maybe he wouldn't play football again, but he came back very strong, and is the only NFL player ever from his college, which is a little school in West Virginia called Shepherd. 13-yard pickup on that game. Total offense, the big edge to the Atlanta Falcons here in the second half. They have dominated this football game. 2nd down, 7 from the 37. Wilson again, this time left side. You take it to the 43-yard line. Looks like he's about 3 shy of the first down. Don Smith, number 65, making the stop. You know, I was interested yesterday when we talked to Henning, and he told us, we asked him about putting in his game plan for this game. He said, I put my game plans in for the first 3 regular season games back in April or May.
That's because they can't really rely on using the 4 preseason games as an indication of what the team is really going to do. See, because you do so many experimenting in the preseason, play so many different players.
3rd down.
This is a long 1.5 yards.
Yep. Big play for the Saints. 3rd and 2 from their 43. Guyjon in motion. They give it to Wilson, and he fights his way close to the first down marker from our angle, and we're just about right on line with the down marker. He didn't make it. I don't think so either.
Bum's got a decision now. I think right now the Bum is staying with his game plan, going to pound at him, try to get outside and make the run and keep ball control rather than panic with 11 minutes and 15 seconds left and just start throwing it every down. That's not their style of football. Now he's got a decision to make.
Well, it's apparently already been made. It is 4th down and inches needed for the first down. Bum's team trails by 12 with 11 minutes left to play in the football game.
Where's George Rogers? I sure as heck want him in there right now. He's got a lot hanging on his.
Wilson tried to get up over the top, and he did make it. 1st down, Saints at the 46-yard line.
Atlanta was playing very fine short yardage defense, but it's tough to stop that guy from leaping over the top unless a linebacker can time it perfectly and meet him in air.
Rogers, 87 yards rushing and 15 carries. There's the leading rusher is Riggs. He's at 141 now in 32 carries.
When you're the only back in the backfield, if you're not making a lot of yards, you're in trouble.
1st and 10. Saints at their 46. Todd, sideline throw. Flag is down on Britt, number 26. Got the left hand out there, but apparently made contact with the body on the right side.
Well, I know it's not our job to evaluate every decision, Frank, but that looked like good defense from up here.
I thought so, too.
Now, James Britt is the defensive right corner. You can see it right here. He's being driven back. Now, Goodlow is coming back now. He didn't come back real hard, but now watch this. I guess they call him for getting his right hand on him, but he didn't really use it as a leverage weapon to push the person.
The word on Mike Pitts is that he has suffered bruised ribs and probably will not return for this football game.
That can be painful.
1st and 10 now. Saints at the 40 of the Atlanta Falcons. Richard Todd, good protection for Scott. Intercepted in the end zone by Bobby Butler.
Underthrew him.
That's a touchback. And the Falcons will take over at the 20-yard line.
It was super defense by Bobby Butler. Give him credit, but the ball was a little underthrown by Richard Todd. You should always try to put that ball up over the outside shoulder. Now, see now, number 80 right there, Lindsey Scott going to the outside. He should be catching that ball over the outside shoulder if he can. The ball is underthrown. Bryant is right in position to make the play. Good defensive play by a fine young defensive back.
So Bobby Butler comes up with the big interception. The Falcons will take over at the 20-yard line. 9 minutes, 56 seconds left to play in the game. It's the Falcons by a dozen. Atlanta appears to be in good shape with a 12-point lead. 9:56 to go in the game following the interception. They have the ball at the 20, and I imagine they'll try to run that clock down some.
Yeah, they will. I think this type of situation fits right in with Dan Henning's philosophy. They like to run the ball, especially on first down, and maintain ball control and eat up that yardage. It fits right in.
So fake to Riggs this time. Downfield, Waymer intercepts at the 50, 45 to the 42-yard line.
That's confusing to me.
Waymer, who was injured earlier in the football game, is shaken up again after he came back in.
Bart threw that way too flat. It almost looked like the wide receiver thought he was supposed to be running a different route than the quarterback.
Now, why do you gamble on this?
I'm not sure. It was real intricate play action. Everybody thought they'd be running on first down. He's going to look now. I thought he threw it a little flat rather than throwing it up high, throwing more like a post pattern, and he wasn't running a post. You can see that Waymer was hurting a little bit right there. He has not been playing. That was the first snap. Now he's on the
Last year, Bartkowski threw only 5 interceptions all year. We've got a timeout.
Are you ready for mystery? How about murder? Angela Lansbury is ready for both. She's queen of the modern murder mystery in Murder, She Wrote.
1st and 10. Saints ball at the Atlanta 44-yard line. New Orleans trailing by 12, but given a life by that interception. Rodgers down to the 41-yard line. Maybe Dan Henning just wants to give his defense a little more work. What do you think?
Well, this is one way to do it. Throwing an interception in the 4th quarter when you're leading and there's only 9 minutes to go. It's a way to give them a little test, you know.
Let's see.
Both mental and physical test.
They've handled it well. That's the time remaining in the football game with the Falcons leading by 12. 2nd and 8. Here's the final score. They did it again. How about that?
San Francisco's good. Detroit. That proves what kind of a football game we're going to have next week with Detroit and Atlanta.
Detroit's tough. So is San Francisco. 2nd and 8. Kobe Brenner, the tight end, couldn't quite reach it. Kobe is not exactly a gazelle out there, but he had those long strides and trying all the world to get to that football.
Kobe was isolated, believe it or not, one-on-one on an outside linebacker, number 56, Al Richardson, and he had him beat to the corner, but Richard just threw that a little bit too hard. If he'd have thrown that one a few minutes ago to Scott just that far to the outside, Scott might have had a touchdown. This one he just overthrew.
3rd and 8 for the Saints.
They haven't done real well in 3rd and long.
Todd is only 10 out of 25 for 127 yards, and he's had 2 picked off.
They're bluffing the dog. They're bluffing the blitz. They're not going to blitz.
Todd over the middle goes to Scott, and that's good for a first down at the 22. The speedster from Georgia. In the eyes of some, has been somewhat of a disappointment for the Saints since being a number 1 pick.
It's a nice square in. Now watch Lindsey Scott, number 80, up there working on Butler, who's turning and runs. See Butler, number 23. Now he gives him a little moves and comes inside. Butler makes the drive for the ball, but not in time. Lindsey Scott comes up with a reception. They were all up bluffing the blitz, and you could tell that they weren't going to blitz because the corners were playing loose into the outside, Frank.
Well, Butler got the interception last time. This time it was Scott's turn to come up with the big play. 1st and 10 at the 22. The fake to Rodgers. Sideline throw to Goodlow at the 15. And he'll be dropped at that point. Eugene Goodlow. 3 years in the Canadian League after 2 years of college ball at Kansas State. And he seems to have come into his own as an outstanding receiver in preseason this year.
Eugene Goodlow is one of those guys that donates a lot of time to charity in the offseason. You know, there's a lot of guys in the NFL that do that, and we should all take our hats off to him.
Goodlow has caught over 100 balls in a single season up in Canada, so he's a good experienced hand, despite the fact it's only his 2nd year with the Saints. 2nd and 3 from the 15. Todd giving to Rodgers. He'll be close for the first down at the 12-yard line. We'll keep a close eye on the clock for you because that certainly becomes a factor here with the Falcons up by 12 points. Saints need to score, and they don't need to waste too much time doing it. 7 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the football game.
That was a nice little trap play they were going to try to pop up inside. Brad Edelman, the guard, number 63, is going to pull and try to trap the defender, and he doesn't quite get clean. Now, you watch the left guard of your screen here, number 63. See him pull there? Now, he's looking for a man to trap. He couldn't find him. LaFari pulled also with the play, and he turned up inside and made the first down. A lot of men moving in different directions on that play, Frank.
On both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
First and 10 it is for the Saints at the 12-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. Final score, the Dolphins have put it on the Redskins, the defending NFC champions, 35-17. Our score, 33-21. Atlanta leads it. Rodgers to the 10, to the 7, the 6-yard line goes George Rodgers. Played his college football at South Carolina and was the #1 pick in the league when he came up.
New Orleans is in a 2 tight end offense with 2 wide receivers right now, and what Richard Todd is doing, he's audibling that toss play going toward the safety that's furthest removed from forcing the run, and it's helping them right now, Frank.
Second down, 4 for the first down. They have to get to the 3 to pick up the first down, and of course 6 for the touchdown.
Audible. He's audible right now.
Rodgers fights his way to the 4, maybe the 3. Actually, they have to get closer to the 2 for the first, so I don't think he quite picked up the first down. Richard
Wilson
Todd
coming in
to the sideline. You know, Saints still are one of the few teams in the NFL that the quarterback is allowed to call most of his plays, although in that case you saw Wilson came in with the play from the bench.
I'll tell you, all too often when the quarterback gets help, it's not when he needs it. Here's when he needs it, and they give him help. That's a credit to Bum and his offensive staff.
Third down. A long yard needed for the first down. Wilson fights his way forward. I don't believe he made the first, so
no.
He'll have to, I don't think there's any question, he'll have to go for it now.
No.
Tom Pridemore, number 27, the strong safety, and James Britt coming up from the corner to make the hit.
That shows you how much confidence they have in Wayne Wilson, number 30. You know, you have one of the best running backs in football, and he's sitting on the bench in that situation. Here he comes again now. So Rodgers is coming back in.
So Bum Phillips faced with a decision, and they will go for it on 4th down. Less than a yard needed for the first down at the 3.
They got to put it in now, and it'd be a good idea to get it done in a hurry.
Rodgers in motion. Todd rolling out, floats it into the end zone. Touchdown! John Tice. The backup tight end, John Tice. That had to confuse Atlanta when all of a sudden Rodgers, of all people, took off in motion, and Todd really looked like he could have run that thing in.
Well, he has the option to run that play in. If the defense drops off and covers Tice, the tight end, into the end zone, he will run it. If the defense goes ahead and attacks the run fake, then he'll throw it. And that's exactly what he did. It's a very well-conceived little play. Everybody in football has that play in their goal line pass offense.
Anderson tacks on the extra point.
I'll tell you, Frank, that's a gutsy call, right? You can make a first down down there. You can make a first down before you score, and you go ahead and go for the touchdown. That's a gutsy call.
Here it is. Todd has a lot of running room on the right side.
See, he had the option. He had a little token fake there. Now the guard's out in front of him, and if that defender did not come up, he would have run it. In this case, number 23, Butler, came up, so he threw it. Look at Tice.
Yeah, that could have been second-guess city had they not made that. I mean, Bum would have never heard the end of that one, going for it for all of it on a 4th and inches.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They could have made the first down, right? Then it'd been 1st and goal to go on the 1.
Right. Well, they only needed about 2 feet for the first.
Yeah.
He's at the 3. So a yard would have gotten him the first down. But he went for all of it and got all 3 yards.
Yeah.
And now The Saints are in position where a touchdown, they don't even need the extra point, a touchdown gives them the lead. 33-28, the Falcons lead it. We have 4 minutes, 43 seconds left to play. Dan Henning conferring with his quarterback, Steve Bartkowski.
Do you think they'll go deep on this now?
I don't know.
They came to play. There's no question about that. They came to play and compete. I think we're watching two good football teams play pretty darn good football. Eliminate the penalties and those kind of things and that distract from the game a little bit. It's been a good football game.
Falcons were halfway looking for an onside kick. Left Stamps back by himself, took it at the goal line, gets out across the 20 to the 23.
Stamps really brings it out. That little free agent rookie guy from Jackson State, he's got a little courage. Shows you don't have to big. He's only 5'7".
Listen to the Saints fans now applaud their defense as they go onto the field, imploring them to hold the Falcons so they can get the ball back. A lot of these fans on their feet. Number 2 ranked defense in the National Football League last year, but they've had their problems here in the second half against Steve Bartkowski and the Atlanta Falcons. Hard to hear yourself think in this place right now. Riggs out to the 27-yard line or so.
There's that wingback motion trap on the nose guard again. See, in that kind of a play, they're not looking for 15 yards or anything. They're looking to get that positive gain, come up with 2nd and 5, giving them 2 downs to make the first down.
Here's another final. Forrest Gregg's head coaching debut at Green Bay is a successful one as they beat St. Louis by 1. Here comes the Chant defense now. 2nd down, 7. Clock moving with exactly 4 minutes left to play in the game. Jackson to the right side, Bailey to the left. Benson, the H-back, in motion. The pass is intercepted. Deflected. Intercepted by Jackson. Jackson, the Pro Bowl linebacker, picks it off. And the Saints have a 1st and goal at the 8.
As you watch the right side of your screen, you'll see the ball is batted into the air. It was going to be a quick screen. Now Jackson all of a sudden finds a way coming in there. He scoops it in the air. 57 to the right side of your screen. Now he's a running back. He said, what am I doing in this situation? He's going to try to put it down. It was going to be a quick screen to the wide receiver, which the quarterback throws about 1 yard off the line of scrimmage, and it got batted into the air. They're playing volleyball.
It was Whitney Paul, the linebacker, number 51, who batted the ball up and into the hands of Jackson. 1st and goal at the 8. Richard Todd gives to Rogers, and Rogers to the 6 for a tough couple of yards.
Boy, that Buddy Curry is playing tough inside there and making a lot of plays. What a fine linebacker. They compare him favorably with Tommy Nobis, the great linebacker of the past of the Atlanta Falcons.
They had to use him a lot on the outside last year because of injuries and all, but he said yesterday, he told us he's much more comfortable in
He's
the middle.
a player. He really is a player, and to be playing ahead of Fulton Kuykendall, the fine inside backer, he has to be a good one.
2nd and goal at the 6. The Saint players on the bench trying to get the crowd quieted down, and so is Todd, so they can hear the signals. 2nd and goal. Touchdown gives the Saints the lead. Wilson. Did he lose it? Ball popped out, and Atlanta has recovered the fumble. Pridemore came up with it. How's that for a turn of events?
I'll tell you, this can't be a barn burner because this big cement building won't burn down, but it's close to one, isn't it?
It's a game of ups and
I
downs.
toss. Here it is. He's going to toss it deep to the tailback. You can see the lineman pulling, coming around. He gets it tucked away. Now he's turning up. He's got the ball held a little bit loose. There it goes. It popped out. Oh, my gosh. Pridemore is a hero. Not an interception, a fumble recovery.
Falcons are still not out of the woods with 2:53 left to play in the game. They have to be awful careful as they're inside their own 5-yard line. Enough thrills and big plays and turnovers and penalties to last a season. Out of this one, Riggs around the left end, 10, 50, 20, he can move, 30, 40. Riggs is run down from behind at the 32.
That's the one thing he has, is that great speed for the big man. Now watch this play. He's going to break off to his left after he takes a direct handoff from the quarterback. Now watch the quarterback reverse pivot. Riggs is back behind him. See, now hand it off. He gets nice blocking by the lineman. Nice job by the tight end. Gets a nice block right there by Benson. Another block by the H-back kicking out. There he is. He found the seam. Now look at this big man run. What speed. Poe is trying to catch him. Here he comes. Here he comes. Now here comes Russell Gary, who has been injured trying to catch him. Finally, they bring him down from behind.
That's a 57-yard pickup. Riggs now has 201 yards rushing. It's also his 34th carry, and that is a new record for carries in a ball game by a Falcon back.
Plus, I think it's the longest run from line of scrimmage by a Falcons back in the last few years. Look at this guy. Yesterday in talking to him, he says, you know, I'd never been nervous in my life until they started me last week in that preseason game, and it dawned on me it was now my responsibility. He has sure assumed the responsibility with this performance.
Well, he heard his name introduced on the PA last week against Denver, and he really got the butterflies, he said. And he probably had a few today, but he's played some game. He gets a breather, and Kane is in there at running back. Lynn Kane on the carry. No place to go, but right now the Falcons, whoa, look at this. Turned nothing into a 7-yard gain.
Bartkowski almost got a good comeback block on that one.
2 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the game. There's the time remaining and the score.
They've got to get that ball back if they're going to win it. You have to give credit for to Atlanta there. They didn't belly up down there on that turnover, and they just went ahead and competed, and they made a thing happen for them. And that might be how their year goes the whole year.
Last year's Saint quarterback Ken Stabler looking on.
Isn't he something? I tell you, he's 100% behind Richard Todd.
I know. He said yesterday, he says, I don't know about this Todd. He says he goes to New York. He tries to take Namath's job away, comes down here. He tries to take my job away. He says he shouldn't do that to old Alabama guys. 2-minute warning going to both benches. We'll be back at the Superdome in just a moment. Welcome back to the Superdome. 2 minutes left to play in this game. And the Falcons in control right now. The 2nd and 4 upcoming at the 33 of the Saints. Gerald Riggs has blasted the rushing record of Atlanta to smithereens. The previous record was set by Andrews 5 years ago today in this stadium in Andrews' first game. He rushed for 167. Riggs is at 201 at this point. Kane on the carry down to the 32-yard line. Each team has all 3 of its timeouts left. Tennis coming up right after this one. That third-round match is underway. Jimmy Connors leading in the first set against Andre Leconte, 3-1. And we'll join that in progress as soon as this football game ends. By the way, Mike Ken, the Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Falcons, was shaken up on the play that Riggs made that long run, and he's being replaced by Warren Bryant. Other scores in the National Football League. Miami over Washington. That's a final. Green Bay squeaks by St. Louis. Final score. San Diego puts it on Minnesota. Still in progress, but I don't like the Vikings' chances. Chicago over Tampa Bay in the 4th period. Kansas City in a big surprise, leading Pittsburgh 37-20. Todd Blackledge is playing quarterback. His first start since Bill Kenny was hurt. That's only in the 3rd period, and the Giants beat your old club, the Eagles.
Yeah, it must have been a heck of a football game, though.
28-27.
You know, winning that opener is important. I did a study over the last 2 years, Frank. The 28 teams that won, they had a 61% chance of going ahead and having a winning season. The 28 teams that lost, 16 of them had a losing season.
Falcons have rushed for 250 yards thus far. Riggs gets the call on 3rd down, needing 3 for the first. They didn't get enough. There's the time remaining, but the Falcons don't pick up a first down. Obviously, the Saints going to get the football back. With 3 timeouts, they do have some time left. Funny things go on at the bottom of those piles sometimes, don't they? Falcons' team rushing record is 297 yards. They rushed for 250. So the field goal try upcoming here would put the Falcons in a situation where the Saints have to score twice.
Mick Luckhurst is 64% successful in his career. He's 2 for 2 in the preseason from this distance. Very fine kicker.
Saints have called the time here. That leaves him with 1.
2 of the finest kickers in the league were on the field here today. Again, Mick Luckhurst and Morton Anderson.
Now, this is going to be a 48-yard effort.
48 yards?
48.
Yes, 48 yards. Excuse me. I was thinking, yeah, it's still in there.
That's what he has done, or did in 1983. Good strong leg. He could pretty well put it away. Keep it up. Keep in mind again next week our feature matchup. Cowboys and the Giants. Many of you will see that. And of course, you followers of the Falcons. And the Saints will see your own teams in action. Here we go. Luckhurst trying to wrap it up. If he misses, the Saints still have a shot. 48-yard field goal effort. It's long enough. It is good. We got a marker. We got a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. Buddy Curry discussing matters along with Fulton Kuykendall with Gene Barth, the referee who let us in on what happened.
We got a personal foul, roughing the holder.
The personal foul, according to Barth, is roughing the holder, which would be tacked on the kickoff.
Here it is right here to the right side of your screen. Puts it down. I don't see any roughing the holder.
Well, Britt took a pretty good shot there at the kicker, not the holder.
They were all blocked into everybody.
The defense. We have personal foul, roughing the holder, penalty refused, field goal is good.
So the field goal puts New Orleans out of a touchdown range. They now need a touchdown and a field goal, and start some of the fans here in the Superdome finally heading for the exits. They've been sitting on the edge of their seats on this one for sure, because it's been back and forth. Falcons 36 and the Saints 28. We have 1:46 left to play in what has been a penalty-marred football game. I mean, Falcons have been penalized 13 times for 130 yards, and the Saints 8 times for 60 yards, and those are just the penalties they've accepted.
The Atlanta-Detroit game in Atlanta next week, Frank, we get to be there, is going to be a real good football game. Because Detroit, as you know, we did them a few times last year, they're a good football team. A playoff caliber football team.
You know, looking back in the first half of this game, that safety now becomes very significant. Otherwise, the Saints would be in a position where a touchdown would enable them to win this game.
I think Richard Todd will be very happy to get this one under his belt, too, and get through that first opener with a new team, new situation. I really believe he's what they need to go ahead and be a fine football team. They might have maybe attempted to throw the ball deep a little too many times today, you know, and it gets away from their tying in with their ball control attack.
Saints have 1 timeout left, and Todd at this point is 13 out of 28, 156 yards, 2 interceptions in his debut as the new quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Cost him a #1 draft pick this year, but Bum said he'd make that deal anytime. For those of you tennis fans, the Jimmy Connors match in the first set is Connors leading Henri Leconte 4-1, and we'll pick that up in progress as soon as this ball game ends. So did it go out of bounds? No, it landed in the end zone first. It'll be a touchback. So the Saints will take over at the 20-yard line. Again, a quick rundown on the National Football League scores that we have for you on this opening Sunday of 1984. Miami putting it on the Washington Redskins to the tune of 35-17. Big day for Dan Marino. Green Bay with a 1-point win over St. Louis. San Diego, big offense against Minnesota. The Bears trying to get off to a fast start. Did that against Tampa Bay. Kansas City a winner, and so are the New York Giants. And it looks like the Falcons will be joining them. Todd. Well, they're going to have to use that last time out or get lined up in the hurry-up offense quickly. Goodlow on the reception at the 30. Good for the first down. But the Saints have only one more opportunity to stop the clock before this one ends. Todd caught behind the line by the rush, and it is interesting to note that's another area that the Falcons have had problems with in preseason, is rushing the passer. We got another
Dave
injury.
Lafari is down. He looks like he's feeling pretty bad right now.
Falcons had only 5 sacks in 4 preseason games, and that concerned them a bit, but they've gone after Todd with a vengeance, and they have sacked him 5 times this afternoon for a loss of 37 yards. Other scores, a final: New England over Buffalo, 21-17. San Francisco, by the margin of a field goal, beating the Lions in a replay of their playoff game from last year to open the season in Detroit. I'll give you a rundown on all the scores in the NFL on this opening Sunday afternoon. See if we can see the injury to Lafari, number 64.
Left-hand side of the screen, your offensive left tackle, number 64, coming back, pass protecting there. I can't see, nothing happening yet. Now he's getting driven back. Now, oh, here it is. He got hit from behind. Another offensive man came around and fell across the back of his legs. You know, Dave's dad was on the practice field Friday watching him practice. Had come in from out of town, and he's, you know, has other brothers that have played football and everything, and Dave's dad was standing next to him, and he said, you know, I just can't imagine that at one time years ago I held that great big guy in my arms. Here he is, 280 pounds. Boy, he got hit pretty good from the behind. You're better off getting hit directly from behind than you are from the side.
Well, it looks like he's going to need some help in getting off the field. 1 minute and 21 seconds left to play in the game. The Falcons leading 36-28. And when we get back to play, it'll be a 2nd down 18 situation for the Saints, following the sack of Richard Todd a moment ago.
Boy, that really crushes you as a coach when you're standing on the sideline and see one of your fine players get hurt.
The executive producer, CBS NFL coverage, Terry O'Neill, Chuck Milton, our producer here in New Orleans today, and our director, Bob Fishman. Richard Drake handling the associate producer chores, and some of the other people who have helped put this one together for you this afternoon. And it hasn't been artistic all the way with all the penalties, but it's certainly been an exciting football game to watch.
It has been. It's the first time Atlanta's beaten New Orleans in about, what?
That's been a while.
It's been 3 in a row
last year.
3 in a row that New Orleans has beaten them.
And this, as Lafari is being helped on the stretcher, would be the 5th straight time that Atlanta has beaten New Orleans in the opening game of the season. So Lafari needing assistance from the field with a leg injury of some kind.
Looks like he hurt his left leg.
Saints will be home next week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course the Falcons home opener next Sunday afternoon as they take on the Detroit Lions in what should be a fine game. Back to work we go. A 2nd down, 18 for the Saints, trailing by 8 with 1 minute 21 to go, and they do not have a timeout left. Richard Todd, almost
pass
interference. Yep, another flag goes down. Butler was up there strong defending. Could have gone on the offense. What do you think?
No, I think it was on them, definitely.
23,
yeah.
first down.
I think he was all over him like a sweat there for a while. Mr. Garth. I've had a few run-ins with him from time to time through my career. Yeah. We didn't see eye to eye a few times.
I'm sure you were a model of decorum and a gentleman on the sidelines when speaking to officials. U.S. Open tennis coming up right after this. You want to see Jimmy Connors grunt his way through another victory? Jimmy would like nothing more than a rematch with McEnroe. Todd really belted as he delivered the football to Hokie Gaijan, and Hokie goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line to stop the clock with 1 minute and 7 seconds left to play.
Atlanta's getting consistent pressure on Richard. He really hasn't had a lot of time all day long. The defensive line is definitely improved, plus everybody's healthy on that defense. They lost a lot of guys last year.
2nd and 2 needed for the first down. Saints at their 44-yard line. Todd sliding along in that pocket, has enough for the first down, and trying to get out of bounds is Goodlow, and does so to stop the clock at the 45.
Did a real nice job. Richard Todd did a real nice job then of avoiding the rush and stepping around Frank and making people miss. He should be able to do that, having been a wishbone quarterback at Alabama.
1st and 10. I was amazed that Bum told us yesterday that he doesn't time his guys, number one. They always work out in shorts, he says.
He said he doesn't need to time them once he has them. He says he watches them on film. If they get the job done, that's fast enough.
San Diego, that's a final score, beating Minnesota and ruining Les Steckel's debut as a head coach in the National Football League.
Honeymoon is over.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line of Atlanta. Todd airing it out for Scott, and that's going to be picked off and is. Fumbled by Bobby Butler. Took a look at the official, said, well, I'll pick it up and go with it. And is ridden out of bounds at the far sidelines at the 27-yard line. So Todd is victimized by the interception for the 3rd time this afternoon. And that should pretty well do it.
Bobby Butler's had a good day. He's defense and passes. He's covered people tightly. He's challenged them. When he's had a problem, he hasn't backed away and played scared. Looks like he's really maturing into the fine corner that they thought he would be when they drafted him number 1.
Saints do not have a timeout left, so it's just a matter now of Bum Phillips watching helplessly as the Falcons run a play or two from scrimmage, and that'll be it. And that'll make Dan Henning a victor as he starts off his 2nd season as head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, giving Billy White Shoes Johnson the word.
Congratulations, Dan. It's nice to take those headphones off when you know it's over, and you put them down and you start thinking all those great things that you've seen happen.
Pittsburgh making a bit of a comeback on Kansas City. That game is still in progress in the 4th period. And Kansas City still leads it by 10, but it's got to be close to being over, I'm sure, as is this one.
Flop on.
Bartkowski just kneels down with the football. No way that the Saints can stop the clock. So 40 seconds from now, the Falcons will have a 36-28 victory, and will have a happy ride home to Atlanta as they begin preparations for their home opener next Sunday against the Detroit Lions.
That'll be a great trip home for the ownership, for the coaching staff, and for the players. That's a great plane ride home. The food tastes better. The cold drinks taste better.
Look at Henning. He's almost in the locker room, and there's 15 seconds left to play.
We ought to time him, see what kind of speed he has left.
And a disappointed Bum Phillips, particularly, I think, disappointed in his defense, which the Falcons really put to the test, and the defense came up a bit wanting as Bum's guys gave up 36 points. There's the gun. That's the final score. The Falcons 36 and the Saints 28. Good day for Steve Bartkowski with 14 out of 21 and 197 yards.
Mr. Wills.
A club record. So, for Dick Vermeil, this is Frank Lieber saying so long from the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans with the final score, the Falcons 36 and the Saints 28. Stay with us now as coverage of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships continue from Flushing Meadow, New York. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.